This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
I just landed in a really beautiful place, Montana. It's so beautiful flying over, and you just look down, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But we have a very high rating in Montana. We have a lot of popularity. I like them. They like me. But I'm here to do some fundraisers and most importantly to support Tim Sheehy, who's running for the U.S. Senate. And we think he's going to do really well. We're going to have a rally and it'll be a lot of fun. And then tomorrow we're going to do some more different stops, different states, all good, all great people. And we're leading in all of the polls now. Just about every poll has us leading. They found out that this is a phony that we're running against, a person that had no idea what she was doing on the border, has no idea what's happening with inflation, had no idea what they did when it came to Afghanistan, the most embarrassing day in the life of our country. There's never been anything so embarrassing. We should have gotten out with dignity and strength, not the way they got out. It's an embarrassment to our country. So we have a great campaign. We have something that's going to be really very important. It's called, going to make America great again. And it's going to happen very fast. We're going to become energy independent again. Prices are going to start going down, including for food, for energy, and everything else. And we're going to really do a job. Thank you very much.
What's up, everybody, for the doubleheader today? Game two right now. In for the second event of the evening. Did the earlier show on the polling information, talked a bit about Tim Walz and how he's basically become an albatross around the neck of Kamala Harris. And then wouldn't you know it, but before I go there, yes, he did land safety. He took a second plane from Billings, Montana to Bozeman, Montana, where tonight's event is being held. No information on what happened to the big plane, how it happened. Hopefully it wasn't sabotage. Hopefully it was just something mechanical that happened. It's going to hold my tongue. I know exactly where that plane gets parked. I know exactly where it is in West Palm Beach. I've driven past it many times. Actually, the wife and I stopped at the fence and took a picture with it, so I could take you to that place where that plane is held and where it basically stays all the time. And let me just say this, now offer this. That plane is normally unguarded. Yes, it's behind a fence, a barbed wire fence at this particular airport, and where they basically keep it parked, but it's not like there's an armed guard outside the fence. Like I said, my wife and I walked right up to the fence. We were probably less than 100 yards away from the big, beautiful Trump jet. We're snapping pictures. And then we did like any other nut would be. We jumped up, walked around this building, got up on not the roof, but on a landing, and took another picture. So it's quite accessible if somebody wants to do something nefarious. So possibly now, after the assassination attempt, that he's actually going to increase the security around the plane as well. It's amazing what this guy has to do to even just survive. Just completely amazing. All right, so one thing I want to tell you about. So I talked about Tim Walz earlier today and the insanity that's been going on around him. I'm checking the stage, monitoring everything. This is an indoor event in Bozeman, Montana. It's going to be 10 o'clock our time, which I think is either 7 or 8 o'clock out there. Full arena, completely packed with patriots. Fully packed with red hat wearing Trumpians, so it's looking good, and we'll get to that as soon as he begins to take the stage. But if you were here earlier, I talked about Tim Walz and the problem that he is becoming and is now for the Democrat Party. Well, lo and behold, while I was on the air, something came out, and it was a statement. You won't believe this. Here is the statement. After being called out for days over lying about going to war to help himself politically, the Harris campaign just put out a statement under, quote, an unnamed spokesperson admitting that Tim Walz lied. Walz didn't even have the decency. I'm going to go a little bit further. Walz didn't even have the balls to put the statement out under his own name. Now, before I get here, I want to make sure I show you. This is an actual article that was on NBC News. So, here's the statement. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz misspoke. That's a great word. I'm pretty sure when we basically have to punish our children, we say, you lied. But, okay, political speak, he misspoke. Misspoke in a 2018 video circulated by the Harris campaign earlier this week that included the vice presidential candidate talking about his handling of weapons, quote, in a war. He misspoke. A campaign spokesperson said Friday. Notice this came out at 7 p.m. on a Friday evening, and they're hoping it now just goes under the rug. The clarification comes after Republicans, it's our fault, led by veteran and vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance, have attacked. Now, bringing up somebody's lies is attacking them over his military record. Governor Walz would never insult or undermine any American service to this country. In fact, he thanks Senator Vance for putting his life on the line for our country. It's the American way, said the Harris campaign spokesperson in a statement. In making the case for why weapons of war should, and they go right into, control. In making the case for why weapons of war should never be on our streets or in our classrooms, the governor misspoke. He did handle weapons of war and believes strongly that only military members trained to carry those deadly weapons should have access to them, unlike Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, who prioritized the lobby over our children. Wah, 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 wah. Go change your diaper. You got caught. You're busted. Everybody knows it. You didn't misspeak. You got miscaught. You got caught lying not once, over and over and over again. And now on a late Friday evening, after everybody's gone home, it's 7:30. What time did this article come out? Yeah, about 7 o'clock p.m. Excuse me, just as I was going on the air. You have to issue a statement to try and, tamp down the fire. It's only begun, my friend. It's only begun. It's only going to get worse. And like I've told some of you guys who might have been here for the earlier video, there's more stuff coming out. There's some seriously devastating stuff that's coming out. And right now, they are trying to do whatever they can to stop what's coming out. Now, I found something else interesting. This was a little disconcerting because you have to wonder, what is this woman saying, and why would she be saying this right about now? Miss Nutjob AOC, after watching two of her squad members get booted out, Jamal Bowman, the guy who pulled the fire alarm, he got booted out. Cori Bush, the nutjob in the squad, she got booted out. It's likely possible that Ilhan Omar gets booted out next week. But AOC had something to say today, and it's quite ominous, if not downright threatening. Listen to this crap.
Is that everybody is terrified of a Trump presidency. And everybody wants to do everything and anything possible to prevent that from happening.
Everybody is terrified of a Trump presidency. And everybody will do anything and everything to stop that from happening.
And I think that regardless of your position on that, I think an overwhelming amount of people are motivated by that.
What in the hell is she talking about? How can the Secret Service not go and investigate her? How can the Secret Service just let that go and not understand, hey man, what in the hell is this woman talk? Anything and everything. We need to do anything and everything to make sure this guy doesn't get elected again. I'm pretty sure anything and everything is something that people have to take note of from a safety perspective. I'm pretty sure anything and everything requires a visit from the Secret Service. What the hell did you mean by saying that to the nut jobs who follow you? If any of us had said anything like that about Kamala Harris, the black SUVs would be knocking on your door pretty quickly. And now this witch decides she's going to get on camera and talk to her millions of followers across social media and say anything and everything. She knew exactly what she was saying. She knew exactly the message she was putting out there. She could come back on Monday. Oh, I didn't mean it like that. I was just talking, legally. We need to get out there and get people to vote and blah, blah, blah. You didn't say that. Why didn't you say, if that's what you mean, why didn't you say that? Why did you say we need to do anything and everything to make sure this guy doesn't get elected? Well, there's only one thing you can do to not get him elected. You didn't mention that. There's one single thing you can do, and that's to beat him at the ballot box. You could have said, let's get out there and vote so that he doesn't get back into the White House. Because that's the only way legally you can stop him from getting in the White House, is to stop him by basically outvoting him. Or whatever games you guys try to play if he wins. But that's not what she said. I listen to words that people say. I don't misconstrue what people say. She said anything and everything. If you guys are on Twitter or on your networks, you need to say something and get the Secret Service over there. Not that they're going to do anything. Hopefully Trump sees it and says, hey, you guys going to go talk to this woman, because you can't just let her talk like this and let that kind of stuff get out. But what it does show me, these people are getting desperate. The only time you get to a point in your life when you say, I'll do anything and everything to make X happen or not happen, is when you are absolutely desperate and you have no other means of stopping or achieving something, that you're willing to do anything and everything. Because when you get to that point, you know what the message that you're saying to yourself or others, and she just said it. Remember, this man was shot at less than 30 days ago by a sniper. Somebody tried to kill him. And they said, okay, we're going to tamp down, the vitriol and not talk like this anymore. And you put out a message like that? We're going to do anything and everything we can do to stop him. I'm repeating it because I want you to understand the severity of what she said and who she may be talking to. It's not cool. They're desperate. They know they're in trouble. If you watch my polling video, you know why they know they're in trouble. They can't keep the wheels on this thing. I don't care what they're trying to do and who they're trying to get out to these events and get her up there speaking. That tells me they don't believe a single thing that they've been seeing. That tells me that it's AstroTurf. If you felt confident, think about that. If you felt confident that Kamala Harris was going to win and that she had the crowd, she got the enthusiasm, everything's working, she's got the money, we got this in the bag, you wouldn't have to tell people, get out there and do anything and everything to make sure this guy doesn't become president. They're playing an evil game. They don't care. They'll do anything. And then just tonight, after I got off the first episode, I misinterpreted, or not misinterpreted, I didn't hear everything that Glenn Youngkin did in Virginia. I mentioned that he's taking the state to paper ballots only. That's just part of it. He removed 80,000 dead people off of the rolls of the Virginia ballots. 80,000. For some reason, there were 80,000 dead people names. Well, we know what reason, but there were 80,000 of them on the ballots. That's absolutely insane. So he just basically took 80,000 Democrat voters off the ballot. I personally think at this point, Virginia's a red. It's going to go red. You took 80,000 voters away. Yeah, that's probably going to do it. Then I also read while I was eating dinner that the state of Michigan took 26,000 people, dead people, off the ballot. In essence, they took 26,000 Democrat voters off the ballot. Neither of those two states had a margin of victory big enough to overcome 80,000 and 26,000 being taken off. And then Georgia's doing the same. So to me, when you see all this happening and you understand that they've got an AstroTurf candidate, they know, oh my God, we're in trouble, and this guy Tim Walz is just making it worse. So they put out an apology that's not really an apology. I don't think they said, let me just make sure, I don't think they say the word sorry in here. No, circulated by the vice president, he misspoke. Nope, doesn't say anything. Clarification is what they're calling it. So they're not even saying, hey, listen, not only did he misspoke, we're sorry if we misled you. Nope, just misspoke. He just happened to say the lie over and over and over and over again. So while we're waiting, I'm watching and monitoring the stage. Let's see what you guys got. Brian Kellick says Virginia is setting the tone. Yeah, now if you imagine a couple more governors in some of these swing states does the same thing, I think Nevada's working on the purge as well. They're done. They are absolutely done. Hey, you can have these other states. I don't care. You can't win. She's not going to win Arizona. No, not with all the scrutiny from last time. As long as Fox News doesn't call it at 7:45 like they did before. Go Governor Youngkin of Virginia. Absolutely right. I heard Biden is going to run again, and that means he's going against Kamala at the DNC. I don't know if Jill's going to drag him out there again or not, but I've been hearing that too. I've been hearing that the DNC might be a big night for popcorn out there. Misspeaking ass dog. That's funny. Hello, thank you for the super chat, Forbidden Gecko. Definitely appreciated. They need to scrub all states. Well, you know what's funny? You're going to laugh at this one. The Michigan scrub, where they took 26,000 dead people off the ballots, the Democrats sued to keep them on. Imagine that. You filed a lawsuit in a court of law to keep dead people on the ballot. I would love to have been the judge in that case going, they're dead. Have we verified all these people are deceased? Yes. So they're dead? Yes. Why would you want to keep them on the ballot? That would have been my first question. So have we verified all these people? We're not taking anybody off by mistake, right? Yes, they're all dead. So all these people are deceased. They legally can't vote, right? Yes. Then why do you want them on the ballot? And why are we here in court? What are you suing for? That's the desperation that I'm seeing that you won't see on the media. They won't tell you that. Hey, listen, they're trying to fix their rolls, and they found 26,000 dead people, and they're going to take them off, and the Democrats sued to keep the dead people on the voting ballots. Desperation. And it's only August. It's only August, and they're feeling the heat. Their media crap isn't working. The polls, as I showed you earlier, aren't working. It's all smoke and mirrors, and she's not making any headway. And this guy Tim Walz is basically being an anchor to the entire thing, because now they're having to fight this front over here, where this guy has been a complete loser, and I mean loser with a capital L, and we still are waiting for more stuff to drop. Good luck with that. Happy birthday, Barry. It's not my birthday. Huh, I wonder why you say it's my birthday. It's coming up. Actually, I think what they do is they just put your month of your birth. They don't put your birthday. But so I will accept it. Thank you very much. My birthday is coming up very soon. Thank you. Heard that the left is planning an October surprise. Where is this? Heard that the left is planning an October surprise with illegals causing mayhem in America. Eyes wide open, America. No doubt. You heard her. You heard it from her mouth. anything and everything. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, as you guys know, and here's another indication that you know that the media is full of crap. They're dropping bombs over at Syria on American soldiers, and they're not even reporting it. During the break, I sat there and I flipped stations, and I'm like, are you guys reporting it, or are you not going to bring it up till like midnight or tomorrow? It's insane. So I'm just wondering why they're basically hiding that as well. The new name for those two, talking about Kamala and Horse Guy, is Lone Ranger and Tonto Hi-Ho Silver. So I assume by that moniker that you've put on them that you've read the story about the horse. Yeah, that horse story. You guys will be you. Oh, it's funny. Happy birthday when it comes up. Yes, thank you. I will accept them all. When you get to this age, every birthday is a blessing, and so I'm never gonna turn down blessings, baby. Garland is now. When you saw this, you found out that Merrick Garland was filing bribery charges against the Bidens for Romania. Who didn't think, okay, so now we see what's happening. Now you want to put this guy in jail. For 3.5 years, he could do anything. But now Obama has said, we heard he's thinking about doing something at the DNC, so we need to basically put him in jail too. They're not even, nothing covert about it. We're going to put him in jail too. Everybody gets to go to jail. I see the Secret Service surrounding the stage, nothing yet. Horse story? Somebody want to fill him in about the horse story, because I don't want to get myself in trouble here, because oh my God, if there are women in here who don't know about the horse story that has been out there, if you don't know, it's disgusting on like an epic level. And as I said earlier this evening, it's been out there for 24, 36 hours, and there's been no rebuttal. Nobody has said it's not true. Nobody. Haven't seen, not even Snopes. Nobody has said it's not true. This horrible, horrible horse story. Man, it's crazy. Battleground state, Wisconsin, going for Trump. I believe the governor out there was doing some stuff as well to clean things up. Where is the video at? I said to copy to Congress. Trust me. Oh, you're talking about AOC. Oh, okay. It's on her page. She posted it. She didn't even hide it. It's right on. If you go to AOC on Twitter, it's sitting right there. Hey, we're gonna have to do anything and everything to do something. Tim was playing pin the tail on the donkey. I'm not really sure the tail is what he was looking for. If you know what I mean. And I think you do. A horse is a horse, of course. Dude, can you imagine if that story was circulating about you? Wouldn't have been your first inclination to say, F you, I never did that. It's not true. Anyone who says, I wouldn't dignify that with a response, wrong answer. This is a social media age. If you don't get out there and refute it, people say, well, you must have done it, Hey, Travis, what's going on? No tails involved. Travis, hold on a second. If I see your name over here, I know I was supposed to click your link, and I couldn't find it. Travis, do you have your wrench on? Let me see. I can't find it right now, but I'll take care of that. Anyway, okay, so Travis was going to be a moderator, so I had to make him a moderator, but I'm looking for his name in here. But it's moving way too fast as usual. That's an interesting question. Will he keep Kamala as his VP if he runs again? No chance. I bet you he'd make Jill his vice president so that she could, ascend the throne when he kicks the bucket not too far in the future. Jimmy C knows what's going on. Camilla just gets worse and worse for her. Yeah. Absolutely. And think about it. Whatever's going on in Syria, whatever we end up confirming as if people did unfortunately pass away, she's in a real bad position, because she's got to promise the nuts over here that, hey, listen, we're not going to take this anymore with Israel. Yet at the same time, as vice president, the United States just sent Israel $1.3 billion. How are you going to juggle that? How are you going to juggle that your administration just sent $1.3 billion in weaponry to Israel, but you're going to tell the nuts over here that I'm going to demand a ceasefire? Good luck with that. What did Netanyahu already tell you? He tells you to go pound sand. He already told you that. I'm looking at the stage. I'm looking at the stage right now. I can show you guys. I have to make sure there's no music. Okay, so you guys can see the stage as well. Nothing going on right now. Marcus. Wilbur. Oh, he wants me to interview the horse. So, Mr. Horse, can you tell us more about how this was? Did you approve of it, first of all? Were you okay, Mr. Horse? Did you say, yeah, go ahead and get some? Or, did they sneak in at night and blindfold you and tie you up in your stable and just basically do some horse abuse? I don't know. We need, somebody needs to find out. Somebody definitely needs to find out. It's crazy. Well, let me get this up here. God will rise up a prophet. Acts 3:22. I am the messenger. They didn't believe Noah either, saith the Lord. Yeah, that is true. Well, hey, you go. Haitians for Trump here in South Florida. Very nice. No garden gal. For some of you guys wondering, it wasn't that bodily fluid. I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to get myself in trouble. But there's only 2 bodily fluids that would come out of that end of the horse. Thank you, AVP. Have a great weekend yourself, or the rest of it as it starts tomorrow. If something happens to Trump, AOC will have to answer. Yes, I agree. I think at this point, what we've seen, I don't know if you saw tonight, but there's been a lot more information finally coming out about the assassination attempt. And people are having to couch their words. And what I mean by that is you can't see and say what you really feel for fear of retribution. People are basically saying it looks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, but they're not saying it was a duck. They're leading you right up to the edge and going, how could this possibly have happened? Well, there's too much information now that they're finding the information and going, so this 20-year-old kid trained at a gun range right next to, in the same place, where Department of Homeland Security agents were practicing. He showed up and went to the gun range. I think they've got the logs at this point, something like 50 times with a rifle, practicing. He went there the day before, practicing. Okay, so, no big deal. People practice at the gun range. I practice at the gun range. Doesn't mean I'm going to take a shot at somebody. But he's there. People can see him. Hey, listen, look at this guy. Okay. And then the day of, I don't know how you can have that catastrophic of a failure. Everything had to fail in order for this to happen. Literally everything. And now that the tapes are coming out with what the cops were saying on their mic, and they've got the body cams and everything else, it's like one of the guys is caught on the mic radio screaming, I effing told them. I told them they needed people up there. I told them twice. I told them at the meeting 2 days ago. Not the meeting, but I told them. And there just was nobody there. No, nobody. Nobody on that roof. They just didn't do it. Too many things had to happen exactly the right way for this to be what it was. And the only thing that had the grace of God was the guy turned his head. Just by turning his head, he was saved. That was it. No other reason. Otherwise, we would have seen his head explode like a watermelon on live television. We would have been sitting here talking about the rally just like we're doing now. He would have started talking and poof, pink mist. It would have been all over. And now, 30 days later, they're digging in and saying, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There's no protocol being followed where any of this would say, okay, here's where it broke down. It all broke down. I mean, I'm sure Dan Bongino, you've heard him talk about it, but I've been listening to military snipers and people, and they're like, none of it makes any sense. How did this guy, they show one part of the video where they know he's on the roof. This is before he took the shot. They know he's on the roof. Nobody said, get Trump off stage. Then the cop climbs up as he has the other guy. You can watch him. He jacks him up there so he can peek above. He sees the guy, and then immediately, the shots followed. So they knew he was up there because he actually says, give me a boost. And he boosted him up. When he was saying, give me a boost, should have been some sort of red alert. Take whatever the code word, get him off the stage. But they didn't. Nobody listened. Nobody was home. You're right, Donna. Raskin needs to answer questions as well. If you guys have heard some of the stuff that Jamie Raskin in Congress has been saying, all of this just tells you it's complete, utter desperation. If you truly thought you were winning at this point, you wouldn't be saying this stuff. So that tells me that they know she can't win. And if she has to pull this guy Walz off the ticket and march somebody else in, no, she might as well call Hillary at that point. Hillary may not even want to do it. I can't attach myself to you. You got a stench right now. I mean, she might as well just make AOC or Ilhan Omar her vice president, because anybody with an actual credible chance of running in 2028 ain't going to want to be anywhere near Kamala Harris. They deliberately stood down and let the assassination take place. That's what everybody who has gone on TV, and I see them standing up. Oh, you guys can see it because I still have it here. Looks like Eric and Donald are about to, Eric and Don Jr. are coming in. Is that who that is? But somebody's walking in. But anyway, that's what people are saying. Hey, there's too many things that happened for this not to be intentional. And at this point, someone has to answer for it. Barry Raskin is a jerk. Yeah, he is a complete jerk. AOC knows Trump will win. Yeah, it's definitely a duck. That's for sure. All right, so it is now 10:05, and I don't see anything happening. But so we'll keep going. Yeah, why did they wash the roof off? Good question. There should be heads on the block at this point. Somebody said DNC is supposed to choose the person, not Kamala. So now you get to choose your vice president. The DNC is supposed to confirm that person as the actual nominee. So when they did this Zoom call and everything, what they did was they basically told her, yeah, we're all going to do it. But I don't think she has the official votes in hand yet. I don't think the delegates have actually signed the document and said Kamala is it. I've said for some time now, I think this was an audition. I think this was a way for her to show people she could get it done. But as I spoke of in the polling data, and which Trump who gets the internal polling data, he's like, we're winning. We're beating her. So he has the real data. Why are the polls lacking? Why are they not doing what they're supposed to? I don't know. Anthony G says they can't be that incompetent. It's intentional and heads need to roll. Absolutely. To see here, Tampon Tim is already bloodied over stolen valor. Kamala needs to swap him out. The stolen valor, from what I understand, what could potentially be coming, let me couch my words here. What could potentially be coming, if it's true, it's going to basically cut his legs off and probably cut Kamala's legs off. Because if what I've heard is comes, and she picked him, having vetted him, I don't see how there's any way they can leave her as the nominee. In fact, I almost wonder whoever she put in charge of vetting him, if by chance it was a submarine job to basically take her out. Because I can't believe that somebody would have done this vetting job and came up and saw some of this stuff and went, should we do this? Yeah, let's just go ahead and, he's fine. Go for it. Pick him. Because somebody had to see this stuff. She's too stupid to have seen it. Let's just go ahead and admit it. Somebody went and did the vetting process for her, and that somebody or that group of people had to sign off and say, he's clean. You're all good. And I'm sure she's looking at this stuff now and going, how did you not see this? Did you guys set me up? I would be thinking if I were her. I hired this team. This team told me he's good. So unless the team is made up of complete morons, they set you up. At this point, she has to realize, wow, they set me up, didn't they? Yep, they set you up. They knew what was coming. And this is where I'm not even a Democrat, and I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off because the stain it puts on the country. And that makes me so pissed off at Tim Walz. Dude, you'll never see this video, but if you do, be a man and walk away. You are a scumbag of epic proportions. You knew the skeletons in your closet. We all know what things we have done in our past. Yours happened to be so bad, you should have known, I don't think you want me out there. Plus, your stuff is so bad at this point, even if she booted you, you may not be able to keep your job as governor of Minnesota. That's how bad it is. At this point, I don't know if this story drops in the next week around the convention, how he can even keep his job in Minnesota. I mean, I think the people in Minnesota, as liberal as they are, will probably have to say, damn, dude, you got to get. We can't have this. I mean, all this stuff combined so far. You got the stolen valor. You got the potential of this horse thing. And in this next group of stories, from what I understand, unbelievable. As a man, he should run away. If you're a man. Let's hear it. You got to make it too big to rig. Yes, I agree with that. Hey, Barbara, the stadium is packed out. Yes, it is. Kamala will never swap out Walz. I hate not saying what people have told me, but it involves his... in fact, they've been using the word. Let me tell you the word, and maybe you guys can Google it. So, supposedly, Mr. Walz has a thing for Twinks. And I'm not talking about the Hostess cake, Twinkies. He likes Twinks. That's what they're saying. And if that comes out, that he didn't be a man and talk about it, and that some of these Twinks, if they end up being underage, big trouble. Big trouble. It's hard to be that stupid. Well, no, they knew what they were doing. It's obvious at this point. I believe it was Eric Holder that vetted him. So Eric Holder had to see this stuff in the dossiers that they put together. Somebody nodded to Kamala Harris. No, you're good. Yeah, yeah, he's going to be fine. And they just looked the other way, because you're right. Nobody can be that stupid. The person at the end, she's taking someone's word for it. Yeah, we signed off, he's good to go. She didn't do the vetting. Somebody told her the vetting was complete. Whoever did that vetting didn't do a good job, or they lied to her. One of that too. How many people are at this rally? I don't know. Maybe 10, 12. Her campaign is done. Yeah, if this information comes out about the Twinkies, she's call it a day. Call it a day. I mean, I understand that her audience right now is basically comprised, the majority of it, liberal white women. There may be some of them nuts like Rosie O'Donnell and some of those people who just will look the other way. Doesn't matter, anybody but Trump. But a lot of other people are gonna, yeah, I can't do this, man. Can't do it. Doesn't the Secret Service vet all candidates? Yes, I believe the Secret Service does the actual vetting, but at that point they turn it over to whoever is in charge that wants the report. So, from what I understand, Eric Holder was the man in charge. So they came to Eric and go, here's the report, bro. We gonna go. And Eric Holder, he looked at the report and go, yeah, okay, it's good. Yeah, you're good. And didn't tell her. Whoever was in charge of that. That's where that problem is. Unless Eric Holder, the criminal, unless he didn't look at it. Because Secret Service, they're not making any decisions. Hey, do a background check, make sure everything's in order, and bring me the report. They just, okay, here's the report. Which means, just to let you know, somebody knows what's in that report. Somebody who compiled it knows what's in that report. And they're still talking, and they're still talking, and they're still talking, but nothing going on. Willie Brown. So, let me tell you this story. Comes out tonight, another story. This is just a little anecdote. That Willie Brown actually flew on one of Trump's jets to come to New York to meet with Trump. And Trump wasn't on that particular excursion, but he sent his jet to go pick up Willie Brown and bring him to New York. Guess who was on the flight with Willie Brown? Yeah, Kamala Harris in the Mile High Club with Willie Brown going to New York to meet Trump. She rode on Trump's jet to go to New York. She must know. She must know what he knows. Just think about it. This guy's sitting back with all this, you heard on, what was it? All the CNN, whatever, they're complaining. Trump's not really doing any campaigning right now. And I'm like, I wouldn't either. This is like preseason, and I've got Tom Brady at the helm. Tom, you're sitting. Matter of fact, you don't have to even put on your uniform. We're going to have the subs go in and play right now. I'm not putting Tom Brady in to play the 3 preseason games. And so he doesn't need to do any campaigning right now because, number one, he doesn't know who he's running against. I want to see what happens at the DNC. Let me see who runs. Why am I going out there and doing much? Plus, I don't have to do much. I already know I had 100 million people view what I had to say with Aiden Ross. I know it's coming Monday. I'm just telling you guys right now. Whatever you're doing on Monday, block out from like 8 to 9:30. He's going live with Elon Musk on Twitter, I believe. They haven't released all the details, but boom. You think they're freaking out now? You think they're freaking out now? Wait until you see what happens Monday night. I don't think Trump might not have to do another rally. In fact, if he does a rally, it's just to basically appease people like us in different towns, because Monday night, as I've done a video, I believe Monday night her campaign ends. I think the amount of people who are going to see him, and if it's a video, if not, it's going to be audio, the amount of people who are going to hear or see him and Elon will be more than immense. Crazy immense. Just absolutely devastating to her. It's bad enough now she's trying to pay people to basically do stuff for her like he did with Aiden Ross. And its worst part about it is they're telling people, yeah, she tried to pay me 10 grand. I said no. Oh, what'd she give you? Oh, she wanted to give me 5 grand. I told her to go pound sand. So she's trying to replicate what Trump did, and she can't do it. And she could probably do the thing with Elon Musk, but then that would require her to answer questions unscripted. Checkmate. Trump's going to have the platform to himself, going to say whatever he wants. He's going to answer Elon, whatever Elon wants to ask him. And I'm sure they're going to say, well, we've offered Kamala the same thing. She could come on and talk to my audience, but, she chose not to. Because she can't. She by her own, not admission, by her own omission of not doing anything and telling people I'll wait till the end of the month to see what I can do. By her doing that, she is solidifying to people she's not prepared to answer questions. Good luck with that. People can see the weakness. And at this point, as they see and smell weakness, there's going to be people jumping off. You just can't possibly keep doing, even with all your media help. Somebody said something, and Elon Musk does not like Harris. Well, I don't know if he so much doesn't like Kamala Harris. He doesn't like what she stands for. He doesn't like what she wants to do to his business. Speaking of his business, they were trying to boycott the advertisers and everything else, and he went and filed a lawsuit against the Advertising Federation, and they caved. They caved immediately and said, okay, we're not going to do this anymore. And now you got the people over in England saying, if you post something on Twitter that's against the government, we're going to arrest you. Arrest who? You Americans, we're going to put out warrants for your arrest. Okay, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Elon doesn't fool with Kamala. Yeah, but he'll give her the opportunity. Hey, listen, come on and talk. I love football, but it will not distract from our American duties. No, it won't. In fact, we got trolls? Hey, Travis, are we seeing a bunch of trolls in here again? Is Tommy here? I'm not really sure. I don't think as many people watch TV news anymore due to the cost of cable, etc. It's mostly social media news, and Trump rules social media. In fact, I don't know if you saw the story, but CNN lost, and this number is astronomical. It's hard to even swallow. They had to take a $9 billion loss a couple days ago. At this point, the stock is basically worthless. How they're paying all these people these big salaries like Jim Acosta and everybody else, I have no idea. But their stock is basically worthless. They can give me a warrant, I'll gladly take a vacation in the UK. Oh, they gave one guy 24 months for a tweet. A guy in England said something bad about the way that they're handling their whole thing with the newcomers over there. They arrested him and put him in jail for 24 months. And then there's a video out there where they went to someone else's house, a woman, 55. They basically cut a hole in her door, used a battering ram to get in, and then they're going to look to put her in jail for like 18 months. Let's see, did the horseplay in the movie Animal House. Oh, God, you guys are bad. You guys are so bad. Tell your liberal friends to stop voting Democrat. Hey, they get what they get. You know what I mean? That's you keep doing what you're doing. You keep getting what you're getting. MSNBC is propped up by the federal government. I didn't used to believe that. And now I'm looking at the numbers and actually seeing that they can't pay their bills. They're $9 billion in the hole. How do you stay in business with a loss that big? How do you make up that number? Let me see if I can find that story, because it's absolutely insane, and it makes you wonder how you possibly can stay in business if you're not generating any revenue. How do you do that? Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay. Check this out, everybody. It says here, CNN is now effectively worthless after a $9.1 billion write-down. Yet CNN keeps reporting left-wing opinion in the guise of news. You get the suspicion that CNN is less of a news organization, but rather a psyop that state uses to control public opinion. Look at this. Look at the numbers. It's done. How do you lose that much money and stay in business? It's insane. You know, in the real world, when your business keeps tanking and tanking, and your audience signals to you they don't trust you, you change your business plan. What has CNN or other cable news outlets done to restore trust over the last 40 years? Nothing. Let me help. We want journalism that holds the rich and the powerful accountable. You are not the pals of any politician, and you are not the defenders of elected officials of a particular party. The shtick has gotten old. On the other hand, the old media model is not sustainable. The rich and powerful are always going to set up public relations machines. That's why the real battleground is keeping digital media safe for citizen journalists like X has been doing a pretty good job. They're done. They're completely done, and at this point, they don't know what to do. And the veil is being pierced because people are like, how are you staying afloat, MSNBC? We know nobody's watching you. How are you staying afloat and paying, Rachel Maddow $15-20 million a year? How are you staying afloat, CNN? We know the trouble that ESPN is in and how they're basically looking to get rid of that. How are CNN and MSNBC still on the air? They have to be getting some sort of payment from the government. Absolutely have to. I don't even know how. What to say? What numbers? I didn't show them. You can't. Did I not show the chart last time? That number, those numbers, and how it's down to nothing. They took a $9 billion loss. This number here is 10. Right here where you see my mouse. This number down here is basically, it says it's like 2. If I click on this, okay, now you can see it. There's 2. No, that's way too big. But yeah, I'm showing the numbers right now. That's them. It is what it is. I don't really know what else how they're staying in business at this point. Those numbers. No one voted for Kamala. She was installed like a toilet. Oh man, did she say it again tonight? See, that's another thing. She keeps getting on stage and saying the same stuff that people already know is not true. How can she continue to get up there and say Project 2025, Project 2025, unless the people in her audience are just complete insane nuts? They're just sitting there nodding their head. They're complete NPCs. They don't have any feeling whatsoever. All right, so let me click over here so you guys can... Nope, he's not coming out yet. Who really watches CNN, honestly? Well, you got to wonder if they count all the televisions and all the airports across the country, and they use those numbers as part of their justification, and that's pretty much what they're doing. Yeah, I believe this, Chelsea. I believe our tax dollars are keeping them in business. Yep. Idiotic trades. Yep. I think we all know. We all know what's keeping these people in business. When you hear them, we just raised $300 million. Understand when they say that Kamala raised all this money, and they, who knows where it comes from. I don't know specifically where it comes from, but I know where it goes. You know where it goes. Having been in advertising for a long time, I know what's happening. I know the cyclical nature of what they're doing. Hey, you got $300 million, but you need us to run your commercial, so you're going to pay us $20 million every time you need to run a new commercial, and we'll put it out there. And you just keep the money coming, and we'll keep running your commercials and talking nice about you. It's basically a scam. No one's going to talk bad about Kamala Harris if she's paying them hundreds of millions of dollars. Those commercials have to be paid for. Just want to let you know, all those commercials have to be paid for. Somebody's writing a check for them. That check is coming from the campaign who raised money from somewhere, and then also all of a sudden that money gets paid to CNN and MSNBC and whoever else. So it just keeps that cash going. And they just keep funneling it. So I'm checking the screen here. We are at 10:27. This might be the first legitimate rally. Why he's late? Because of his, who knows? I don't know how far Billings, Montana is from Bozeman. I don't know anything in terms of how they had to get him off the one plane and put him on the other. So maybe that's causing him to be delayed tonight. But that makes sense. I pray Jesus comes soon. You may be right. Maybe here sooner than we know. She believes we're all stupid by explaining what everything like we're in kindergarten. Yes, AI stands for artificial intelligence. It's 2 words, artificial intelligence. And that artificial intelligence is really smart because it's artificial and it's intelligent. Can you imagine her sitting down with Xi Jinping? No, can't. Because that's probably why she didn't sit with Benjamin Netanyahu when he was in town, because he would have eaten her for lunch as well. Sheldon Adelson is dead, but his widow is paying Trump, supporting Trump with a ton of money. Wouldn't it be awesome if Elon Musk was to buy both of them too? Well, if I were Elon Musk, I wouldn't buy both of them because that would just waste money at this point. I would just buy one and basically take over. If I was going to buy one of them, it would be CNN. I don't think MSNBC would be that good of a deal because Comcast has some money. Comcast is behind them. I know Discovery Channel is behind CNN, but that asset is toast, absolutely toast. But at the same time, if you're Elon Musk, I wouldn't spend the money on buying CNN because then who knows if people would mess around with the contracts, all the distribution rights and everything else. And then you got snakes, all kinds of snakes, basically doing subterfuge to you and everything else. All Elon is going to have to do at this point is buy a giant warehouse, create a massive studio, and turn the cameras on. At this point, the whole thing with what happened tonight in Syria, people were talking to me, and they said that, and people were commenting, "Hey, what network are you seeing this?" I'm like, no, it's going to be an hour or two before the networks catch up. It's already old news on Twitter. I mean, if you look on Twitter and see this stuff, it's already just spinning. People are taking pictures and videos and everything else. And so all he's got to do is basically just broadcast it. I've been waiting to the point where he basically flips the switch on Twitter and starts showing more and more stuff and becomes a destination for people to basically log into. Let's hear. What the heck is that guy saying? Yeah, Trump's plane had problems, but they diverted it. He should be out there now, but nothing yet. The donations are Smurf. They use miscellaneous names and launder and spread the donations, and you don't know about it on your credit card. I don't know if you saw, I think it was Texas that said that now they have to include the 3-digit code on the back of a credit card. And I thought to myself, are you telling me that they could have used throwaway credit cards all this time and nobody was checking the CVC code to make sure it was assigned to a real person? And now, better late than never, but now you're going to make them put that in there? Because if you didn't put that in there, you could probably write an algorithm to just keep charging this card and then moving money into it. So, crazy. They said a lot of the crowd the other day, they show people filming her on their phones. You can see her jet on their phones. Her jet, yeah, right. What kind of plane problems did President Trump have? Haven't seen it yet. Don't know the report on it. Elon will send an Uber to rescue the 2 astronauts from the space station. That's funny. Yeah, all the stuff that James O'Keefe has been saying about Act Blue, it's pretty crazy. Hey, Cindy. Carl Higbee, I believe, is he Newsmax? I think he's Newsmax. He broke the story as well. Elon needs to buy McDonald's and fix the ice cream machine. My days of eating McDonald's ice cream are long gone, but I know what you say. I am honestly sad. Oh, this guy needs to be bounced. Hey, Tommy, if you're listening, or SV, look up this guy, Show the Real, and show him the door. This guy here. Show the real. Show the real. Show him the door. See if I can see him. If I can see him, I'll bounce him. But if you guys see him, or if Tommy or SB are even here, just be done with it. Just go ahead and just show him his way out. I'm looking. I can't see him. We're doing a little housekeeping here. Hunting. We're going troll hunting. He'll pop up. Hey, well, one of you guys can go ahead and just show him out of here. Vivek mentioned the CVV code up in an interview. Yeah, that's very important. Elon might create something more revolutionary than YouTube. You know, he's got the infrastructure to do it. The one thing he's going to have to do is, I don't know how much of a algorithm guy he is. He's going to have to create an algorithm that allows content to be basically seen by more and more people. And once he does that, which I'm pretty sure he'll be able to do that, and then once he does that, then he's got to figure out a way, the same way we can basically get rid of trolls and stuff of that nature. And then he's also got to fix the monetization and stuff. So I'm looking here, and I can't see if SB or Tommy and Travis. Oh, wait a minute, Travis. I think I got you. Hold on. All right, Travis, you got the wrench, buddy. Feel free to make him go bye-bye. All right, so I'm checking. As you guys can see, still no sign of Mr. Trump. I'm pretty sure, Travis, I got him. There he goes. Okay. I just put him in timeout. The guy asked, it was funny, I'm looking at one of his comments, he's like, why can't we talk? Because you're talking shit. You're calling us morons and everything else. We don't need that. If you had something worthwhile to say, then, we'd love to talk to you. But since you don't want to say that stuff, and you just want to basically troll people, we ain't got time for that, man. Ain't nobody got time for that. I hear he's partnering with YouTube. I haven't heard that. I don't think YouTube wants Elon Musk anywhere near Google or YouTube. Don't. They got enough money. They don't need his money. I don't think they want anything near it. Let's hear Travis. Thanks for your service. Thanks Travis for dumping him. Walz is putting out recipes. Oh, who knows what you can make with the stuff that he would mix up with that stuff. Oh, God. How come the trolls don't go on the leftist media YouTube place? You know what? It's exactly right. I have no desire whatsoever to visit anything that Kamala Harris is basically streaming, or any of her people are streaming. That doesn't interest me. But I have noticed an uptick in trolls since she became the nominee. And I know what she's been trying to do online, and I think what she's been trying to do, and she's paying people to do this stuff. Elon Musk saying he's buying YouTube. Wow, that would be simply friggin' amazing if he were to buy YouTube. I mean, you don't even know. Elon said he changed Twitter to X in honor of his son. Yes, I understand that was true. Let me continue with something here. He wasn't as bad as Return of the Mac last night. People are talking about the horse milkshakes. Elon is not buying YouTube. He owns 40%. I think he just bought it. Heard the story about... No way he bought YouTube. No. Wow, that's crazy. Hey, Bridget, how are you doing? How you guys doing? Late night. It's a late night rally. It's already 10:36 now. I think the wifey just went to bed. She hasn't thrown the dog in here yet, so she's probably not quite in bed. Probably just, where's Trump? Good question. You have to understand another thing, too. We're here, depending on where you are, it's 10:37 on the East Coast. I think Mountain Time is 2 hours behind, so it's an early, 8:30 at night over there. But lately, all of his rallies, he's been late getting on stage. Um, Elon and Trump on a stream on Monday. I hear the rocket engine turning on. Oh, it's gonna be epic. Absolutely, absolutely epic. Barry, thank you for bringing us the Trump rally tonight. It's great hanging out with you and the great Patriots. Trumpians in the house. All kinds of Trumpians in here. Hope everything is well with Trump. I just think if my hypothecated guess here, my hypothecation, is that is she saying anything? It's still music. Hold on.
You can roll your IRAs and 401.
She's talking about gold. I can't let you do that, lady, because I'm gonna have to talk about you know who, Lear Capital. But anyway, I think since the assassination attempt, ever since that happened, he's had to basically cross the T's, dot the I's, every single thing. That to me would take a long time, depending on what how they do it. But I think it sucks for people at the events because nobody talks to them. They're sitting around. I mean, the last speaker at this point went off stage maybe 30 minutes ago. So now people in the audience just standing around. And I think that's not a good thing because at that point people get bored, they get tired, they might have been drinking, who knows. At that point, you should have the entertainment or somebody speaking right up until the time that he walks on stage. Don't make these people sit around for 30 and 45 minutes where nothing is going on, not a thing. I think it's bad planning that whoever's planning his events isn't planning them correctly. Because I'm looking at a bunch of people, they still seem to be having a good time. A lot of younger people in there too. So not really sure what the delay is, but while we're waiting, let me talk to you about Lear Capital. You know that inflation is still on the rise all across America, and our dollar is being devalued more and more every single day by the Federal Reserve and their massive money printing schemes. So you have to ask yourself, are my investments really safe? I doubt it. Listen to this. Government debt is growing at the rate of $1 trillion every 100 days. Since 2020, every dollar in your wallet has lost 24% of its purchasing power. And in just the last 18 months, what you need to survive as a family, your groceries, your necessities, have gone up by $11,000 per family. These are unsustainable and outrageous numbers. That's why I'm recommending that you call my friends at Lear Capital. They'll show you how easy it is to move some of your assets into gold and silver. You know, assets that are growing in value instead of keeping them in a dollar, which is declining in value. And as we approach the election and with all the volatility in the world, now is the time to take some action. Call Lear today at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. When you go to Lear, you'll be able to download a de-dollarization guide. It will show you specifically how your dollar is deflating every single year. There's no obligation, it's just free information. You'll learn how to protect your hard-earned money with gold and silver. Just so you know, Lear has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, $3 billion in trusted transactions, and is the only company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase guarantee. Call Lear at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. And when you give them a call, ask how you can get $15,000 in bonus gold with a qualifying purchase.
Of course, the port's open
All
borders,
so
just like Kamala.
Don't see anything as of yet. There was a guy that was passing around signs. People loved them. They were basically getting the Trump Vance signs. But other than that, it is now 10:41, 41 minutes past the time that Mr. Trump was supposed to take the stage. Not as of yet. So let's keep going. Where was that? Somebody said, okay, this one. Okay. I wanted to take this. It's too small. I listened to Kamala's rally in Arizona for a few minutes, and her and Walz are scary people. You can see the hatred in Kamala's eyes when people interrupt her word salad speeches. She has a cold heart. Yeah, she does. I talked about that last night. She doesn't seem like she's ready for prime time. I heard that Tampon Tim is going to be sponsored by the Budweiser Clydesdale. Oh my God, that's just too funny. About that story, the funny part of the story, if it's true, which I can't talk too much about it, but there was a line in the report that I saw that said that he misingested. And I thought to myself, or over-ingested. And I go, hey, honey, if I came to you and said I misingested or over-ingested this stuff, what would you say? And she's like, I'd pack my bags. Like, under what scenario would you over-ingest that liquid? And so I think bro's got a lot to explain here. And nobody in the press wants to dare ask him. But as I said, the posts are all up. Normally, community notes will come and hit you with a warning saying, hey, this post has been found to be fraudulent. But as of today, it's still out there. You got people asking questions and going, yeah. How'd that happen? Trump voter here. Hi, Pamela. How are you doing? Yeah, that's the story. The story said he had to get his stomach pumped. I mean, if that was you, think about it. How fast would you have been at a podium just saying no, denying everything about it? He was in college in 1995. Okay, so let me just tell you something. I was in college way before that. And I did some stupid stuff, joining a fraternity and being in a fraternity. We all did. Everybody who was in a fraternity did stupid stuff. I can tell you that all the stupid stuff we did involved beer and chicks. Okay? It wasn't involving, barnyard animals. It was beer and chicks. And if it wasn't just beer and chicks, then it was spiked juice with grain alcohol. That was the fare of the time. You got a kegger or a couple or 20, and you had the big barrel of grain alcohol and Kool-Aid or whatever you stuck in there, jungle juice. That was the fluid that was going around during the party. And then the other stuff that went on had to do with what you would do to get this woman to talk to you. Wink, wink. That's it. That's the crazy stuff. And then throw in a panty raid. And, throw in like guys basically getting sick and tossing their cookies. Ain't nobody talking about dealing with barnyard animals just because you were in college. Nope. That didn't happen. Not at all. Barry, you are older, better than the BS. Leave the discussing rumors out of your life. Sorry. What do you mean? What's a rumor? Is it a rumor when they were saying that Trump basically had hookers pee on him in Russia? Did you say that to people? You're going to get me started here. You're going to get me really started here. If you're a Trump supporter and you said that, let me just say something to you. You are in a war, even if you don't think you're in a war. Even Jesus went into the temple and tossed over the tables when the money changers were in there. Some of you people better understand real quick that at this point you are fighting for the survival of America. You got AOC saying do anything and everything. And if you're a Trump supporter and you said that and you're worried that you're better than that, no. At this point, roll up your damn sleeves. As I said, turn the hat on backwards and get ready to rumble. We ain't got time for limp-wristed people. Nope, not anymore. Not anymore. We can take care of our opponents, take care of our enemies, and then we can help them get back on their feet. But right now, it's time to vanquish these people. It's time to bring them to their knees. As Hillary once said about us, we need to bring them to heel. There is no kind of rationalizing with these people whatsoever. They don't want to engage you. They want to put you in a cage and, quote, reprogram you. You're no longer a deplorable. You are less than a deplorable. So you better get it in your head that these people mean you harm and your way of life harm and your family's way of life harm. They would think nothing of taking everything they possibly can from you. She has already said, yeah, I want to talk about 70 to 80% tax rate. I want to talk about making sure we can remove babies. I want to make sure that we can see if we can't remove arms from, I don't mean bodily arms from people, so that you can be like England, get thrown in jail for a post. I'm not playing that. I know what they have in store for us, and I'm not going to go out without a fight. Ain't going to happen. Sorry, that makes me a bad guy, makes me a bad Christian. I know the righteous anger is there for us to have because it's righteous. These people hate God. They hate Christians. We would be one of the first people on the block when it comes time to removing people. And I don't necessarily mean death, but AOC said anything and everything. Anything and everything. You gotta get in the trenches. I don't care how old you are. Yeah, like I said, Ballones, they want to reprogram us. They want to make it so that they never have to. They've said it. We need to make sure these maggots, talking about you and me, we need to stomp them out. Make sure that they never rise up again. That's what they feel about us. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend people when I say get your butts off the bench and get in the game. We have somebody coming out. I don't know if this is the governor of Montana, but let's jump in. But I don't mean to offend you. I'm just saying you got to recognize where we are at this point. They took a shot at President Trump. Let's see who this guy is.
Hello, Montana! It is so great to see you. Serving as your governor these past 3 years has honestly been the greatest honor of my life. And I'm looking forward to continue to serve Montana when Donald J. Trump is back in the White House. This presidential election can be summed up as the weak and failed against the strong and successful. That's the difference between Harris and Trump. Montanans,
everybody let me know if the volume is okay, because I just want to make sure you can hear.
For 3 long years, home prices are through the roof. It's harder to buy groceries and gas. Childcare is more expensive. Biden trusted Harris. Boy, that was a mistake. As his so-called border czar. Shh. You know it. She's been a complete dud. Under Harris, we've had more than 10 million illegal crossings. That's 10 illegal immigrants for every citizen of the state of Montana. It's got to stop. The Harris border policy is as effective as a screen door on a submarine. Donald Trump will finish the wall and secure our border once and for all. Have you seen this guy they nominated as their vice president? Tim Walz? He's soft on crime, and his so-called peaceful protester destroyed his entire state. And Kamala Harris, she bailed him out. We need to defeat Harris and Walz and send Donald Trump and J.D. Vance to the White House. But they need our help. And that starts with electing Republicans up and down the ballot. And let me just say, I would be honored to have your vote in November. Together, we've worked to fight the Harris agenda, her war on coal, and her war on Montana values. But it doesn't stop there. We need to send Ryan Zinke and Troy Downing back to the House of Representatives. We need to fire career politician Jon Tester and send Navy SEAL Tim Sheehy to the Senate. And we need to fire Kamala Harris. Make number 45 number 47 again. All, you know it, so we can make America great again. It's my great honor to introduce our next speaker. Tim Sheehy is a father, a husband, a combat veteran, a patriot, and a job creator. He has lived the American dream while serving our great nation. And he's running to deliver leadership in the Senate that will make Montana proud. Make no mistake, the fight for the U.S. Senate starts right here in Montana. Jon Tester votes with Harris 95% of the time. In fact, Tester recruited Harris for the Senate. What's up with this guy? Tim Sheehy in the Senate. Montana will have a true leader who will fight inflation, secure the border, and help President Trump make America great again. Please join me in welcoming my friend and your next U.S. Senator, Tim Sheehy.
I just have to cut the music until the guy walks up. So this is the guy that they're bringing on. Somebody asked, when's Trump coming up? The show has begun. These are the guys that are basically talking right now, and then they'll bring up Trump. This is the guy who's running against Jon Tester. This is the reason why Trump is in Montana. They're trying to drum up support for this guy so they can take that Senate seat back from in Montana. Young guy. Hope. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Well, you know my name. Did you know those are also my pronouns?
Lady Michaela, email me.
I've been a he/she for 38 years. I can tell you, going to middle school in the 90s, that wasn't a fun name to have. And that is a joke, but it's also an illustration of the lunacy we're seeing in America right now, where we are telling our boys that they're girls and our girls that they're boys. And Jon Tester voted for it. He voted to put boys in girls' sports. He has been a rubber stamp for the Biden-Harris agenda every single time it matters. You'll hear numbers like 91%. You'll hear numbers like 95%. The truth is, every single time America's been on the ballot in the U.S. Senate, Jon Tester's voted the other way. Every single time. And in the last 3.5 years, Kamala Harris has broken more ties than any other vice president in the history of this country. And that's because of one person, Jon Tester. And in a state that President Trump carried twice by 20 points, Jon Tester couldn't find the courage to say, I'm going to vote against these terrible policies that are bad for Montanans. I'm going to vote against these policies that are bad for America. And I'm going to vote against these policies that are bad for hardworking, everyday Americans. And what they've done is they've put you in the back seat, and they've continually enriched all the D.C. special interests that pay for Jon Tester's campaign. He is the #1 recipient of lobbyist dollars of every single political candidate in this nation, including presidents. I served as a Navy SEAL. My wife was a Marine. We met in the military. And during the wars, we were deploying on and off. We saw each other like 45 days spread across 5 or 6 years. And that's the secret to a happy marriage, right? Just kidding. My wife's my best friend. I'm so lucky she still puts up with my crap. We love this country. We joined 18 after 9/11. When you joined after 9/11, I'm sure, who we got post 9/11 vets in here? Where are our veterans? All right, where are the rest of our veterans? The rest of our veterans, stand up. I want to see all our vets on your feet. Thank you. Thank you.
Nice.
And all of you did something. All of you did something that Jon Tester never did. You put your country first. And when my wife and I joined the military at 18 after 9/11, there was no question what was going to happen. We weren't going to get free college. We knew we were going to war. And we were going to war to protect this great country. I've been to about 93 countries around the world. There's some beautiful places. But there is nowhere I would rather raise my family, build my business, or call home than the United States of America. We are so lucky to be Americans. And if you wonder why we have a border crisis, it's because everybody wants to come here and be Americans. No one's walking across deserts to move to China. No one's drowning in the ocean to move to Russia. They are coming here to be Americans, and we should be proud of that. But I'll tell you another thing, America is at a crossroads. And when I discovered that, I've never run for anything in my life. I haven't run for student council. I haven't run for Congress or anything else. But when I watched the sacrifice of my friends, whose names I still wear on my wrist, we fought hard in Afghanistan. We answered our nation's call. And I still fly water bombers to this day. I protect our public lands. Just last week, I was out water bomber protecting your land. And I was flying water bombers in California by day, and by night I was on my phone trying to get American citizens, allies, interpreters, people that fought alongside us to fight the terrorists. Joe Biden abandoned them in Afghanistan. He left them behind. and he left billions of dollars of equipment. And in the wake of that, I got involved in politics. I said, enough is enough. I'm sick of this bullshit. We got to save this country. And a couple years later, here we are. The reason I'm running for this seat is very simple. When I understood the importance of this race, when I understood that the control of the United States Senate came down to this seat, it was clear that my new path to serve this country was in the U.S. Senate. I got out of the military and started a business in my barn right out of town here. Bridger Aerospace has been a Montana success story. We've created hundreds of jobs right here in this state. And when we created those jobs, we had a lot of veterans on staff. We were fighting wildfires, innovating new technologies and ways to protect our communities. And I'm proud of that. Jon Tester attacks my company every single day, and it's disgusting. You should be ashamed of that. Just like he attacks my war record. And you know why? He attacks my war record because he doesn't have one. He attacks my business because he's never started one. But let's put all that aside. Let's talk about what matters to Montanans. I can't outspend Jon Tester on the air. He's got way too much money. So I do grassroots campaign, all 56 counties, every VFW hall, every rodeo. We're going to every small town, shaking people's hand, looking them in the eye, and telling them why we're going to win this race and how we're going to save this country. And I've heard a lot of things across the state. To our Native brothers and sisters, what have the Democrats done for you? What have the Democrats done for the reservations and the tribes? Why do you continue to vote for them and send them back to office? I ask you to consider supporting our campaign because we will put you first. To working men and women, the open border crisis is destroying our reservations, our urban communities, and our rural communities. Fentanyl's pouring into our state and is tearing apart our families and the fabric of our country. 100,000 Americans a year, thanks to Biden and Harris, and Tester voted for it every time. For everyday working Montanans, gas prices are double, diesel prices are double. Your home's more expensive, inflation's at record highs. How is this economy taking care of you? It's not. It's been an upward transfer of wealth under the Biden-Harris-Tester regime. They've taken money from your pocket, and they're paying off college student loans with it. They're paying for illegal immigrants' hotel rooms with it. They're sending hundreds of billions overseas to other countries when they should be supporting you. They should be supporting hard-working Montanans. And I'm thrilled to have President Trump here supporting us. He's the first president of a generation not to enter us into a foreign war. He's built the strongest economy in a generation, securest border in a generation, and he showed strength on the world stage. And we're going to send him back to the White House in November. But you have a very important job to do, because if Donald Trump gets to the White House and doesn't have a Senate, he's not going to get things done. You need to deliver him a Senate by retiring Jon Tester. And across all 56 counties in our state, I've heard one thing from Montanans. They want common sense back. They want common sense government. And what does common sense mean to Montanans? They want a secure border, safe streets, cheap gas. Cops are good, criminals are bad, boys are boys, girls are girls. This fall, we got to save America. We got a lot of work to do. Let's get to work. Thank you.
Well, obviously, the ladies like him. I saw so many comments where people like, "Oh, he's hot, and he's a killer too, Navy SEAL." So, yeah, I mean, he speaks very well. He's on fire there, and I don't know if they'll do a debate out in Montana, but just the visual of Jon Tester standing next to that guy. I don't know if you guys have seen Jon Tester, but I hope they do debates, because if he stands on a stage next to Jon Tester, the eyes are immediately going to go, this guy looks like a guy I want. Jon Tester looks like, he's been hanging out at the pool hall too much, drinking beer. This guy looks like a guy who's going to fight for you. So, yeah, I hope Montana's realized that. Was he a Marine? I thought he was a Navy SEAL, so I guess one of the others. A lot of the ladies love him. The ladies absolutely love him. He's got it all. Oh God, they're all like, he's hot. I love it. He's a cutie patootie. Love that guy. Grease. There is. I need to learn how to speak. He's a handsome man, not gay, but I want to, if you know what I mean, he's a handsome man. I love that guy and very easy on the eyes, absolutely. You guys are cracking me up. But I think if Trump is out there, he's out there because he knows that this guy can take Montana for him. And one thing he may have said other good things, but one of the things he said that was dead on is Trump doesn't get things done if he doesn't have the Senate and House behind him. So make sure when you do vote, you click the red button all the way down to dog catcher. Just do it all, because he needs the House and Senate as well. His wife is blessed. Yeah, imagine that both of them were in the Marines. Wow, very, very cool. Republican men for the win. So, gotta believe coming up next is Trump. I thought the governor was going to introduce Trump, but governor introduced Sheehy. That's funny. And now, then I thought Sheehy, before he would get off, would introduce Trump, but not yet. And good looks help. Yeah, definitely. If you are old enough to remember 1963, and what basically put John F. Kennedy over the top is when he debated Richard Nixon. And it was the first, I don't know if it was the first, but it was televised. And Richard Nixon, who wasn't the most handsome of men, was up on stage and dripping sweat and just didn't look like something, didn't look appealing. And meanwhile, over here, you got John F. Kennedy, a young Irish, good-looking guy, and it basically was one of the things that swayed the election. They were wondering how it was going to go. At that point, Nixon was ahead of JFK, and that debate turned on that moment. 14,000 people right now, and let me just tell you, I thank every single one of you for attending. Thank you very much. I needed to feel the animal energy tonight. This is our second show. It's late. It's now 11 o'clock, and Trump hasn't even hit the stage yet. So I'm looking at that clock going, every minute he's delayed, or not delayed, but whenever he comes on, we're looking at past midnight before we're done here. So for us, it'll be probably, if he were to walk on stage right now, we're looking at 12:30 at night before we're done here. Montana's, so it's an early evening. It'll be 10 o'clock at night. They can still hit the pubs afterwards. Here, it's going to be 12:30, 12:45 in the morning here on the East Coast. So we're talking about a long day, a very long day, second show of the day. So I appreciate every single one of you who are here. In addition to that, being a long day, it's a long day for him. He flew all the way from right here, basically, West Palm Beach, all the way out to Montana. Yeah. And then he had to deal with his jet breaking down. So I don't know, is he staying in Montana? Is he going to turn around and take a different jet home? Who knows? But this guy, he's 78 years old, and he's got this kind of energy. And I'm thinking, if we could just tap into that, because it's amazing what this guy can do at 78 that most people can't do half his age. and he's not like the best guy in shape. He doesn't eat the best diet. He eats what he wants. He doesn't care, but he's got it. He's got it for this country. The country fuels him. Walking on stage in front of a huge audience like that, it fuels him, and I think he feeds off of that, which is awesome, absolutely awesome. And of course, same thing here. The more people that want to engage and talk and everything else, I love it. I love engaging with people. And then do me a favor. It doesn't cost you anything to be here except this.
Come on, show some love and click that like button.
That's all I want you to do. Go ahead and do that. Let the algorithm know that we're MAGAs and we're here for it, and we're going to be here. It's a late night. I remember, I think my latest stream ever, and some of you guys may have been through it, I used to do football games, and we broadcast back when Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes were basically a thing. I was doing play-by-play for some of the Colorado Buffalo games, and some of those games were Denver. I mean, they're Boulder, way out there. So they were 3 hours behind us. And there was one game where we basically, then it went to overtime. We didn't get off the game until almost 1:15, 1:30 here in the morning. So we'll see if this gets to that point. I doubt it. But that was my longest stream ever. I didn't check. Any of you guys know if the Dolphins won tonight? Any Dolphins fans here? Anthony Gastelum, nothing is impossible with God. Trump truly cares about our country. Yeah, he just went across and did a number of different time zones. His airplane got busted up, and here he is right there. I'm cruising in a Trump train tomorrow. Very cool. Blonde writer says we are mega. Absolutely, we are. 8:14. 14,000 people tonight. Yep, thank you very much. I can hang, Barry. Yeah, okay, Toy, you're here. You're here for the whole time. Good. Somebody said, yeah, Nixon didn't wear makeup. That was a big mistake. Terry Brown says, I'm 66, and the older I get, the less energy I have. Yeah, Joe's been in bed probably for 6 or 7 hours. Yes, we won. Okay, so the Dolphins won tonight. Both quarterbacks look bad, though. So you're talking about Skylar Thompson and Mike. What the hell's Mike's last name? I forget. But Mike looked bad, too? Oh, ouch. That sucks. Dolphins won 20-13. Thank you. Wait till you hit 50, Barry. 9 p.m. is the new midnight. I blew past the 50 exit on the highway quite some time ago. Trump should have had the plane mechanics fly with him. I'm sure by the time that plane landed, they had people waiting on the tarmac, ready to do whatever they needed to do. So I just hope he gets home safely. That's true. What's going on? So what's going on is right now we just got the last two speakers, and we're waiting for Trump to take the stage, which should be imminently. And again, so it's now 11:15. 8:15. I don't know if they're 3 hours behind or 2 hours. I think they're 2 hours, so that's 9:15. Hey Brenda, how you doing? Thanks, Barry, to be hanging out with you for Trump tonight. Thank you for being here. God is watching over Trump. Yes, I believe that. Don't trust the polls. They are all 500 people. 500, 800. Yeah, don't trust the polls. Any at all. Barry, if there's anything I can help with, please let me know. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Get in touch with Travis, and I'll get you set up as a moderator. Here till the end. All right, Jason. I see you. Me too, Judy. Got my popcorn cooking. So it's 9:16 in Montana. Okay, 9:16. If we get Kamala, we'll be under communist dictator government, and we can kiss USA goodbye. You know, some people think that we're being over dramatic when we say that, but she's telling you. I mean, there are enough videos out there where you can see what she says. She's basically telling you what she wants to do. You've heard the 70 to 80% taxes. You've heard it. You've heard her talk about the equity in terms of we all don't start at the same place, but we need to all end at the same place, and redistribution of wealth. And then today or yesterday, she did a speech, and she basically said Karl Marx's words. She goes, "We all are part of the collective." And I think there's not a lot of people who have studied communism and understand Marxism, and the words she used may just sound flowery to people in the stands because we're all clapping. Oh, we're all part of the collective. No, we're not. And I don't want to be. And neither do you. But that's the stuff that she's saying. We're all part of the collective. And so she's telling people straight up, they just don't know what the hell she's saying. They're so infatuated with her and they hate Trump so much that they just clap when they hear her say this stuff. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Anytime I sit down and talk with someone who actually wants to have a discussion, I just ask them that question. You ready to pay 70 to 80% of your money to the government? Very simple. You can say it to anyone that you find who's a Kamala supporter. And then watch them bend into contortions and say, oh, she never said that. They don't even know why they're voting for her. They don't know anything. It's funny. We know more about Kamala's policy than the people who are voting for her. That's one of the reasons why I do so many videos about Kamala Harris, is because you wouldn't get the information from the news. So you need to hear what she's saying so you can hear how crazy it is. And her voters don't look for any alternative news, and so they just think it's not Trump, so it's fine. I know this because I see the celebrities, and I know every single one of those celebrities, and especially the idiocy that Ben Stiller said. Ugh. Ben Stiller, who gave her $150,000 on that call, and he said that every white guy wants to be black. And I'm like, oh my God, you can't possibly pander that much, can you? You really can't. And you can't have people who believe that, do you? Come on. It's crazy. How is it even possible to have 80,000 dead people on the voting list? Because the Democrats left them on there so they could use the names. And it took this long, since 2020, just now, these cases are finally being adjudicated, and the judge basically had had nothing to do but say, you're nuts. You can't keep dead people on. And they sued to keep them on. Boycott all them. I'm not one who advocates for boycotts. I think you should spend your money any way you want. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Not going to tell you what not to do. Personally, though, I've lost so many entertainment options because now I just won't give you my time or my money. The time is worth more than the money at this point. Robert De Niro, you broke my heart, man. You broke my heart. I am a huge lover of the Godfather movies. And I just went, I can't even pull that up on, any of the stations anymore. I don't want to hear anything this guy has to say. The whole Meet the Fockers, him and Ben Stiller, nah, I don't want to hear you. My wife and I went the other night, today's Friday, so I think Tuesday, we had a little date night. We said, let's go to the movies. So we went to the movies and saw this great movie. If you guys haven't seen it yet, if you've been looking at wholesome Christian-type movies, there's a movie called Firing Squad. It stars Kevin Sorbo, Cuba Gooding Jr. is in it, which amazed me. And it's about a man who's a drug dealer and drug runner who ends up going to prison and I think it's in Thailand, and he gets the death sentence for dealing drugs. Death sentence. And while he's in prison, he finds God, finds Jesus, reads the Bible, actually becomes a pastor or minister of the jail's church. And I won't give you out the end if you haven't seen it, but you're gonna cry, no doubt. My big ass was in a chair and looked over at my wife. She's like, "You're crying." I'm like, "Oh, no, not really. I'm not really crying. I'm just my eyes are getting wet. It's just something's wrong here. Something's leaking." Great movie. 90 minutes of just sheer feeling good, emotion, prayer, song. If you have a chance to go see that movie, support these guys. Firing Squad is the name of the movie, and you'll like it. You'll really like it. Looney Clooney. I was a huge Ocean's fan. Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, 13, all the different. I can't watch that stuff now. I won't give you my time. I know what you think of me. You think me and my wife and my family, you think we're just maggots. Why would I give you the time of day at this point? Just over and over and over. And I think to myself, as you're pulling stuff off of Sirius and like, no, don't want that in the playlist, don't want him, don't want her. Just, you know what? How about you just keep your mouth shut and dance and play, whatever you do. I don't need to hear your politics, especially when you basically turn really nasty towards people. I mean, Rosie O'Donnell, man, I understand her and Trump, had a battle, but that's just one nasty woman. Almost as nasty as Madonna. Just, man, don't you have any joy in your life? No, you don't got none. Go see that movie. You'll love it. Chuck Zito, a Trump supporter as well. Trump knows that De Niro's dirty closet as well. His last Ocean movie was stealing $30 million from Biden donors. Yeah, exactly. I just don't need you basically trying to preach to me. I get preached at church. I go to see a Christian movie. Other than that, just do me a shoot 'em up and do whatever you need to do. Entertain me. That's what you're there for. I heard Kamala's own father did it the same thing, disavowed her. Thank you very much. And I'm looking. I see people cheering. No, nothing yet. Let me put that on the screen. Let me cut the music, because you got to cut the music really quick on YouTube, or they give you a hard time. Listen to Colin Ray's "She's With Me." Colin Ray from Men at Work. Is that who you're talking about? I didn't even know he had a solo career, but I could see that. I won't watch the joyless actors who hate us. No, don't like it at all. Forget the crazy celebrities. Yeah, no, that it's funny. It's just, I know there are people who feel things both ways, and I get a kick out of the fact of like different wide receivers in the NFL or former wide receivers, Antonio Brown and Des Bryant are just trashing Kamala and the Bidens. And a lot of people in the football league just they can't say things because they don't want to say things that get people pissed off. You get guys like Stephen A., who, by the way, let me just say this. Stephen A., if you ever tune into my stuff, I've done some videos about you. I think you're full of crap. I really do. I think you're a paid actor at this point. I think that you've waffled so much that they beat you like an old farmhand, and they're making you say the things that you want to say because you have to appease everybody. But I gotta believe somebody like Stephen A., when he gets inside the booth, he's voting for Trump. Don't get me wrong. I really think some of these people will get on stage, and I think they will say anything, and then I think they'll vote for Trump. I saw Will Smith, I've said this before, in an interview. I'm going to have to download that, when he was talking about, I forget who it was, and it was in France, and somebody asked him if he was prepared to pay, like 60% of his income to taxes. He's like, hell no. Okay, yeah, we know that. Let's see, go Lions. Yeah, very. Stephen A. has island problems, probably. No, I don't think it's that. I think he's got black problems. I think he's so intertwined with these people that, he's got to do what he's got to do. Maybe Trump is being briefed on the attack. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if Elon is buying YouTube. I'm going to have to check that out. But if he were to buy YouTube, oh my goodness, that I can't even tell you. Can't even tell you how big that would be. Yep, Stephen A. is a jerk, but I too believe he will vote Trump. I think there's a lot of people who would do that. I think there's a lot of people who, given the opportunity when they have to get in there, are going to vote for their own self-interest. Yeah, all my favorite movies. Oh, somebody said boycott Disney and their weird Transformer stuff. I worked for Disney. I was a Disney employee. I will give full disclosure. My wife worked for Disney. Full disclosure. there was a large contingent of the alphabet people working for Disney, always. But it wasn't like it is now. It wasn't the militant, we're going to make sure we run it down your throat type thing that it is right now. It just wasn't like that. I don't know what happened. I don't know if if it was changing CEO or that basically encouraged it. But what I do know is it was bad, man. It's just gotten bad. And what's really bad about it is my grandkids, of course, my daughter, she just loves to take the kids to Disney World. And so when we went up there a couple weeks ago to meet them, they came down from North Carolina. We drove up to Orlando to meet with them. And I'm like, I'm not going in the parks. Ain't going to happen. It's too hot. Too damn hot down here. And then, afterwards we decided to go places for dinner. And it's like, it wasn't so much visible at that time because we were kind of off property. But I've heard from a couple of people at the restaurant that, they ran into some things inside the park. I love anything Clint Eastwood. Yeah. How could you not? How could you not? Doesn't matter. Okay, Cat Williams put this ball in motion. Cat Williams, he did a talk with, not Shannon Sterling, what's his name? Football player. Anyway, he did a video with him. And Cat Williams said some stuff that he probably wasn't supposed to say, and he let everybody know what was going on. Sterling Sharp, that's who Sterling or Shannon Sharp. He doesn't need to buy Fox. It's already honest. Disney has been, since subliminal messages. Look, I see the blonde head sitting right there. So he's walking out right now. So it's momentarily, it's 11:29. By the time he gets to the stage and the Lee Greenwood music is done, it's probably going to be 11:35. So we're going to be looking at, if he goes 90 minutes, it'll be 1 a.m., people. So get ready. Let's see what he talks about. We know I hope he tells us what's going on with the airplane. I hope he addresses what's going on in Syria. There's a lot to talk about, in addition to going after Kamala Harris. So just so you know, I can't play this right now because there's music playing in the background and the guys upstairs in YouTube don't like us to play music. But as soon as he walks up to the microphone, we will get won't miss a single word from him. Trump is on. No, you didn't miss it. You didn't miss anything. He's walking up to the stage right now. And music is probably still playing. He times it perfectly. He can hear the music, obviously, and he just waits. And when the music ends, he goes to the actual microphone. What's going on here? Why is Trump just late? I don't know if he's late. I think this is what was the time. Remember, they are. It's only 9:30 there, so it's an evening. But he was supposed to go on at 10. He was supposed to go on at 7. So I think the reason he's late is because of the airplane. So let's do that. I'm gonna have to crack open another beer. Tip one for me, brother. Tip one for me. Yeah, go for that. People love him. Man, the people absolutely love him. Here he comes, and all right, here we go.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you. Is that a big crowd? A nice crowd. Thank you very much, and a very, very special hello, Montana. I've been traveling all over your state. I'll tell you, I know Montana better than you know. I was all over your state today. Everything's 2 hours. When are we going to be there? 2 hours, sir, 2 hours. I got to like Tim Sheehy a lot to be here. I have to tell you. He better win. He better win. No. This is some beautiful country, though. I did do a lot of driving. I'd go to one. We went to some friends' house, a really good friend's house with your governor. You have a great governor in this state. You know that, Greg? But we went around the state, and it was so beautiful. And I'd say, when will I be there? Approximately 2.5 hours. So, oh, great. Thank you. It's a big state. It's a beautiful state, and we love it. And we've won it every time by a lot. So I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible place, this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, which is what you are. You built the country. Less than 3 months from now, we are going to defeat radical left Democrat Jon Tester. He's terrible. He is terrible. He is terrible. And send Tim Sheehy to the United States Senate. We're going to evict crazy Kamala. Do you know, ever hear of Kamala? Radical left. Radical left. Well, she has a couple of things that a lot of people from Montana would like she wants to take away your guns. You like that, right? All right, how about this? She wants to fund the police. Are you okay with that? She wants to allow millions of people to pour into our border through an invasion, using an invasion process. I don't think so. I don't think that's for you. It's not for me either. It's not for most people in this country. We're going to evict crazy Kamala, and we're going to get Joe Biden out of the White House. What's he doing now? Greg, what's he doing? You know, he wanted to debate. If we didn't have a debate, he'd still be there. Can you imagine if we didn't have a debate? Why the hell did I debate him? How did he do? Do you think he's happy with it? I don't think so. He's not too happy. You know, they took it away from him. They really did. They took it away. The guy had 14 million votes. She had none. But I'd rather run against her. I think she's easier to beat. I really do. I believe it. And we are going to make America great again. We're going to make it so great. This election is about saving our economy, ending inflation, securing our borders, restoring respect for our nation. We're no longer respected. Preventing World War III, especially for all these young people, these young, beautiful people. We don't want to get them into World War III. And stopping a 1929-style depression, because that's what's going to happen. You saw what happened last week. With your vote, we will reverse the Kamala crash, and we will end the Kamala chaos, and we will stop the Biden-Harris invasion of people that don't belong in our country. They're invading our country. Kamala Harris, you know, it's interesting. Nobody really knows her last name. If you ask people, do you know what her last name is? Nobody has any idea what it is. Harris. It's like Harris. I don't know. How the hell did this happen? You know, they said, so we had the debate. He didn't exactly do well. And they actually, CNN was very nice. They said, that was one of the greatest debate performances I've ever seen, said by a very important person at CNN. Then what happens? 2 days later, they said he was lousy. They don't talk about me anymore. They just said he was lousy. And he was pretty bad, you have to admit. But we're going to turn it around. We're going to turn this country around. We're going to turn it around very fast. We'll turn it around very fast. And Kamala is not up to the job. He's not up to it. Neither is Tester up to it. You know, Tester, everyone thinks like he's my best friend. He's never voted for me once, and yet his commercials is, I like Donald Trump very much. I love his pride. I love his border stance. He votes against the border. He voted against funding of the border. He said, I love his stance on energy. He voted against our energy programs. He votes against us 100%. He's voted in favor of crooked Joe Biden 100% of the time. He did it last time with the election. We had the same problem. Do you remember? He comes out, everyone's saying, he really likes your policy a lot. He doesn't like, he's a radical left lunatic, just like Kamala, and we got to elect him. We got to get him in. Got to get Tim in. Since becoming a presidential candidate, she has refused to do a single interview. You know why? Because she's dumb. Or hold a single press conference. She won't hold a press conference. She won't do it. She won't do it. She doesn't want. And they're easy questions, you know, because the press, look at them back there. Look at all of them. A lot of press. But they're rigged. They're rigged. They're fake news. You know, I looked and I get these tough questions from the press all the time, and I look at the questions that Joe got, right? Where do you think you're having dinner tonight? What will you eat? Will you have ice cream for dessert? No, I don't know. It's unfair, the questions are so hard, he says. No, the way they treated him and with me. I won't use the questions because I don't want to give any ideas. They give me the worst questions. They are so nasty. They are the nastiest people, I think, on earth. And Kamala gives the exact same speech over and over again. Over and over. The same exact words. One of the people put it up, like they put 6 of them up, and it was like every single word is the same. I don't do that. I got to give you a little bit of variety, right? I change all these damn speeches. Where are my speechwriters? I'm going to do that. Just have one speech and just for the next 90 days go out and just read that thing. But we don't like to read teleprompters, right? It's not as much fun. It's not as exciting. And somehow it's never as good, is it, huh? No, I think we're going to write up one standard speech. You read it from beginning to end. You know what would happen? You'd start walking out. They'd say, oh, look, Trump's not holding. How about yesterday? They said, oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd. The press is talking about the crowd. In New Jersey, I had 107,000 people. The press never even talked about it. They don't talk about it. Right? They don't talk about it. Because they're fake. I went to South Carolina. We had 82,000 people. Front row Joe, look. We have many front row Joes. We have Mr. Wall over here. Look, I love that suit. Do you think he's in favor of building a wall? I think so, yes. I think so. He's great. How many of you come to? Over 200, right? And you know, he's a great guy. He's makes a lot of money. You've got to make a lot of money. He travels all over the country. But the front row Joes are great. We have so many people. They've been to so many of the rallies. The rallies are great. We had a tough one 4 weeks ago, a very tough one, right? We had a very tough one. Lost a great person, Corey, great firefighter, great person, really amazing man. Corey, you're a tough one, huh? And 2 gentlemen, real Trumpers, real Trump people. The people, they love our country. What's a Trumper? They love our country, too. Really, really badly hurt. They didn't think they were going to make it, and they did make it, and they're going to be as good as ever, and they're great. The doctors in that whole Butler area did a phenomenal job, I will tell you. They thought these 2 would not make it, and they not only made it, they're going to be, they'll be as good as new, but it'll take a little work, but they got hit hard. All Kamala does is read that teleprompter while pretending she had nothing to do with any of the disasters that they... You know, she's totally given up of all of the things. She said, I want this, I want that, I want that. Now she doesn't want any of it. And then they accuse me of being horrible when I question her. She wanted to be non-energy independent. She wants windmills all over the place, windmills. Put a windmill on top of the building. We have so much oil under our feet. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any country in the world, including Saudi Arabia and Russia. And we don't use it. 4 weeks ago, think of it. 4 weeks ago, the media said she was grossly incompetent. And I said, oh, this is going to be an easy race. She didn't have a chance of beating me. She couldn't do anything. They wanted to get her out. They thought she should resign with Crooked Joe Biden. What do you like better? It doesn't matter anymore, but what do you like better, Crooked Joe or Sleepy Joe? Sleepy Joe, Crooked Joe. Okay, ready? They're both correct. I think Crooked Joe is more correct than you're like, all right, ready? Crooked first, right? What do you like better? Crooked Joe or Sleepy Joe? Not bad. Crooked seems to always win. I mean, he's a crooked guy. All he had to do is think of it. If he didn't do the debate, he'd still be running. They'd be saying how great he is. He's a brilliant man, a wonderful guy, really at the top of his game. He wasn't at the top of his game 25 years ago, I'll tell you right now. And she's worse than he is. She's worse. He's smarter than she is. But the Democrats didn't have the courage to force her off. They didn't have it. They didn't want to do it. It was politically incorrect. And now the media is saying that she's wonderful. She's wonderful. The same people back there, 4 of them I recognize so perfectly. If you can't do a press conference, you cannot be president, okay? That's it. She doesn't do anything. Remember when I used to always walk up to the press under the helicopter or under the wing of the plane and I'd talk to them? I loved it because if I didn't like their question, I could say, I can't hear the helicopter. But they do mini versions of it. Nobody ever did that before, you know. That was it. And they copy. Everybody copies me. So now she walks up. She'll take like a half a question, and she'll leave. Joe is bad. Joe couldn't hear. He couldn't do anything. It was an embarrassment to that art form. That was an art form. It was an embarrassment. Kamala, sometimes referred to as Kamala. You know, she's got about 9 different ways of pronouncing the name. And because the press is so dishonest, no matter how you say it, they'll say you were wrong. You were wrong. I don't care if I get it right. Actually, I couldn't care less. Couldn't care. I actually haven't been accused that I know of calling it wrong, but if I did, they'd say that he did it on purpose. And you could do that. I've done a lot of bad name calling where you call somebody that you know how to say the name perfectly and you call it on purpose. They say, sir, you made a mistake. I said, no, I didn't. Kamala will not answer for her record of failure and weakness. A doctor, please. Doctor in the house. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Take your time. Take your time, Doc. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. We love these people. They wait for 2 days sometimes, and then it's tough. It's not easy. Are they okay? Thank you very much. And doctor, take your time. Good. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Thank you. Take your time, doctor, please. We got a lot of time, right? Nice Friday evening. Friday evening in Montana. I think my next drive is going to be about 3-4 hours from here. I wish it was a little closer, you know, that's the one thing. But that's okay. That's all right. Our governor says we have all the time we want. Greg says we have all. You got one of the best governors. I don't know if you know. Do they appreciate it or not? I don't know. And the governor's wife, I don't know. He's a great one. He's a great guy. We better. We better get 4 more years, or we're not going to have a country left if we don't get 4 more years. We're going to not have a country left. That's why so many people, they come and they waited for days. They wait for days, and it's tough. It's tough. Thank you, darling. Thank you. Yay! Wow. Thank you, honey. That's great. That's really good. Incredible people. So when you're commander-in-chief, you don't go to the run and hide away from the press. You know, they go and run, and they want to go on a record that's a fake record. They have a fake record, both of them. How about the new guy? How do you like him? And anytime you tell a story about anybody, by the way, Steve Daines, how good is he? True. He's one of the finest. He's one of the finest people you'll ever meet. I really mean that too. And it's an honor to be with you. And you want to do this so badly because you want to save the country. We need the Senate. We need the Senate. So thank you, Steve, for being here. Thank you. And what a beautiful family. But you don't get to flee from tough questions, and you don't get to read a teleprompter like for short periods of time where you make a speech that's like 2 minutes and everything is right off the teleprompter. What a lot of work to do for that. And you don't sit across the table from Vladimir Putin and President Xi of China. They're lovely individuals. If you can't handle our press, because they're not as tough as you think, I've been handling them for 4 years, and then another 4 years. They don't stop. They keep coming at you. They're the worst. But we're going to do something. We're going to have the biggest victory. They're going to celebrate, because I think silently they do celebrate. I think silently they do. I think silently they're for us. They're afraid to say it, right? They're afraid to say it, but I think silently a lot of those people back there in the press, and that's a lot of people, but I think they're for us. For nearly 4 years, Joe Biden's mental incompetence has given Harris a free rein to impose her ultra-liberal agenda on America and others with her and destroy our country. You're destroying our country. Joe Biden was exposed during the debate. Likewise, Kamala will be exposed during the debate. She will be exposed during the debate, or debates. But so far, she's refusing to debate. We want to have a debate. Think of it. So she wants to have no debates, but one maybe at the most. And she wants it to be on ABC, because ABC with George Stephanopoulos. Have you ever heard of it? It's the nastiest of all. Who would think it, right? You think of NBC is terrible, and they are. MSNBC is disgusting. But the worst might be ABC, and that's the only one she'll do. And you know, when Biden came out with a brilliant idea to have a debate, how did that work out for him? Not so good. But he came out, they handed me Jake Tapper, sometimes referred to as Fake Tapper, but I have to tell you, he was totally fair, and Dana Bash, and they were totally fair. They really were. CNN. So they said, we want to debate. They gave me one option, because they weren't going to debate. He didn't want to debate. They gave me one option. CNN, Dana Bash, and Jake Tapper. There will be no audience. There will be turning off your mics as soon as you finish speaking. And if you go over 1 second, they turn off and they make you look very bad. The good part is he didn't use much of his. You know, they give you 2 minutes and they'd say, right, you have 92 seconds left. And I kept saying, I'll take it. Can I have it? I want it. I want the 92 seconds at this. And then they'd do another one. You have 37 seconds left. That's a lot, you know, when you're up there, 37 seconds. And that's the last thing he wanted to hear, because he didn't want to talk anymore. You have 77 seconds left. He goes, oh, Joe, what am I going to do? This is who our president was. And now we have somebody that's worse, in my opinion, worse. You have to remember, they said that he couldn't beat me now. I mean, after the debate, he was down, way down in the polls. They didn't even want to show the polls. They said he's not going to win. So they said, we're going to take him out and we're going to put somebody new in. This never happened to anybody before. We spent $100 million fighting crooked Joe Biden. And then all of a sudden they decide to take him out and put somebody else in. She never got one vote. She was the first loser in the primaries. You know, she ran against Joe Biden and everybody else. I think they had like 16 people running. She never made Iowa the first state. I love Iowa. You know why I love it? Because I win it every single time with the farmers. We win it. But she never made Iowa. She was the first one to quit. And now, and stupid, honestly, she was the nastiest to him, too, and then he picked her. I couldn't believe it. And she was part of the cabal that got him out. You know, they got him out. They said, we'll do it the nice way, or we'll do it the hard way, Joe. We'll use the 25th Amendment, and we'll call you mentally incompetent, and everybody will believe us. And, you know, what they did is a terrible thing, actually. They forced him out. It was a coup. We had a coup. That was the first coup in the history of our country. And it was very successful. He said, okay, I'll leave. If that's what you want, I'll leave. And now he's seeing what the competition is. I hear he's going to make a comeback at the Democrat convention. He's going to walk into the room and he's going to say, I want my presidency back. I want another chance to debate Trump. I want another chance. But I handed Kamala and Crooked Joe a surging economy with no inflation. We had no inflation. We had nothing. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world. True. Their radical socialist lunacy turned it into a failing economy with the worst inflation in probably 70 years. You know, they say 47. I don't believe 47. I think it's much more. I handed her the strongest border in U.S. history. She turned it into the worst border invasion in the history of the world. By the way, the chart, the border chart, I love that chart. I love that chart. I'm here because of that chart. I go, let me see that chart. If I don't turn, I won't be with you tonight. I won't be with you. I love that chart. You know the amazing thing? I'm going to sleep with that chart tonight. No, you know, the amazing thing is that chart, I use it probably 20% of the time, not that much. It's always on my left, not on my right. I mean, pretty much always. There are no people. We had a tremendous crowd, but all of the people, as far as the eye could see, they were here, and some in the back. And how great were the people in the back? But all the people were the same. Nobody fled. You know, when a crowd hears a bullet, they always run. They heard lots of bullets because there were lots of bullets going off. And our Secret Service shooter, our Secret Service sniper, whatever you want to call him, water shot, he used one bullet from much further away because the sniper was there and he was way over here. And he wasn't warned that this could happen. I mean, that was the breakdown they had. They weren't warned. But he heard bullets. He immediately looked over, took aim and shot. One bullet. Can you imagine that? From probably 400 yards, pretty far. But if it wasn't for that sign, in this case it came down to the right. It's never on the right, never. And it's never at the beginning of the speech. And I do, you know, I don't use the teleprompter a lot because I think it gets bad, but I just said, you know, let's take a look at the immigration numbers that we had, because they're great numbers. They're the best numbers in the history of our country. The Border Patrol did that chart. Thank you very much, Border Patrol. I appreciate it. But the Border Patrol did that chart. And you see the arrow on the bottom, the red arrow on the bottom. That's the lowest point. That was the week I left office. Look what happened after I left office. Look at that. And it's much worse now because that's a few months now. The numbers are much worse. They've let an invasion of our country happen. But I took a look. And because I took that look, I mean, what are the chances of that? So I just want to thank everybody, because I'll tell you what, the level of love and compassion and all of the things that we all went through, that was a terrible thing. And we're going to be very careful. We have to be very careful. This is, by the way, being president is a dangerous profession. You know, this is a very dangerous, this is not the safest profession out there, but it was an amazing event. And for those of you that don't believe in God. I believe that there's only one reason that could have happened, because the chances were so small. Right? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we're going back to Butler. You know that, right? We're going back to Butler. We got to go back. We got to go back to Butler. They were great. And the hospital was incredible. The doctors were incredible that worked on our two friends that were so badly hurt. The doctors were everything about it. And we're going to go back just before the election sometime in October. It's already being worked on. And I'll probably start off by saying, as I was saying. So you stand up. As I was saying, I gave Kamala and Crooked Joe a world at peace, and their weakness and incompetence quickly brought us to the brink of a global war. America cannot survive for 4 more years of this bumbling communist lunatic. Look, we cannot let her win this election. It's not a question of me. We can't let her win this election. If she wins this election, we're not going to have a country anymore. Starting on day one, we will bring competence and common sense back to the Oval Office. You know, we're really a party of common sense, if you think. We're conservative and all that, but we're really a party of common sense. And by the way, we have a great libertarian with us tonight. Where is our libertarian friend? And I think he's going to be with us. Where is he? What a nice guy. Stand up, please. Stand up. What a nice guy. What a nice guy. A lot of us are libertarian. And I think he's going to be giving you a very nice surprise very soon. But he's a great, wonderful person. And we just met and we knew each other a little bit from before. Thank you very much for being here. How do you like the audience? Not bad. Do you think the libertarians get this kind of an audience? I don't think so. But thank you. Great honor to know you. Thank you very much. But we'll bring back safety, security, and the American dream bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. If you want a preview of what a catastrophe, another term of Kamala will be, and she was there. She was working with him. She was the border czar. Now she doesn't say she's the border czar. She said, I was never the border czar. I mean, everything they did, she's taking away now. But she was the border czar. She was the worst border czar in the history of the world. There's never been a border like this that allows millions and millions of people in a month from mental institutions and prisons. Let them come into our country. Just look at who she chose for her vice president. She went with the hand-picked candidate of crazy Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders wanted him so badly, and the Democratic Socialists of America immediately gave him the endorsement. Forget him. That's her thinking. That's where she's going to go. You know, a politician, when they came out, if Steve Daines came out and said 20 years ago when he started, I wanted to fund the police. I don't think he's saying that. I wanted to fund the police, everybody. Then he said, well, I was only kidding. I don't. The truth is, when you come out with a statement like that, that's where you are. And she wants to defund the police, and she wants to have all of your guns taken away. She wants your guns taken away. You can count on it. A politician, their first statement, Steve, is always the statement. Now, Steve said, I'm going to protect your Second Amendment. That was a long time ago. He said, I'm going to take care of our police. Right, Steve? I just don't want to leave any question in their mind, Steve. He's so happy I did that little second part. He said, oh, my God, they might think I want to defund. No, Steve is he's not a big defunder. He's an increaser for the police. We want to take care of our police. They're doing a great job, right? As Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz let rioters and looters burn down Minneapolis. Remember CNN? They're right back there. Watch. Oh, there goes their light. Their light just went off. While the governor's wife opened the windows to the mansion to enjoy the smell of the fire, she said, the smell is so beautiful. I love it. I wonder where she's coming from. Walz said that socialism is just another word for neighborliness. She wants to be, he calls them neighbors, good neighbors. He signed a bill to to give illegal aliens free health care. He abolished Columbus Day. He ordered tampons to be put into boys' bathrooms. Do we have any children here? Please close your ears. He ordered tampons in boys' bathrooms, okay? He signed a law letting the state kidnap children to change their gender so that they go home. But I'm not talking about him, I'm talking about her. This is her ideology. That's why she picked him. And he signed a bill allowing pedophiles to claim human rights protections under the state law. And then he said, by the way, J.D. Vance is doing a phenomenal job. But then he said, well, think of that. Think of the things I just said. Then he said, you know, I think J.D. Vance is weird. You know, it's a word that they use. I think he calls me that too. No, we're not. We're very solid people. We want to have strong borders. We want to have good elections. We want to have low interest rates. We want to be able to buy a house. We want great education. We want strong borders. I think we're I think we're the opposite of weird. They're weird. You know what they do? They work with the press on coming up with a soundbite, just a soundbite. And every station that night, all the networks, CBS and ABC, NBC, they all said, oh, they were called weird. It's unbelievable. You know, it's not a word that's really used too much in politics, but it's a terrible thing that they can do this. It's just a soundbite. No, J.D. Vance is a great patriot, and he's a United States Marine, and he's a real Marine, and he's a brilliant guy. And he went to Ohio State. He graduated in 2 years at the top of his class, just about at the top of his class. And he then got into Yale, and he became a Marine. He got into Yale, and he did great at Yale. And he met his wife, who was actually, I think, the #1 student at Yale. They have a smart family. And we picked somebody that was very special, and he's really stepped up. I said, you got your sea legs, you know, because the first day they were hitting him with a lot of nonsense. And he's got his sea legs now. He's going to be great. I think don't we like him? And he's for the working man and woman. Tim Walz is the man who's very freakish. He's very freakish. If Comrade Walz and Comrade Harris win this November, the people cheering will be the pink-haired Marxists, the looters, the perverts, the flag burners, Hamas supporters, drug dealers, gun grabbers, and human traffickers. But with a Trump Vance victory, the cheers will come from the police officers, the firefighters, the Border Patrol agents, the steel workers, small business owners, parents, and hardworking citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. And that's what we're doing. We're getting record numbers in the Hispanic community, record numbers in so many different communities. Nobody's ever actually seen. You know, this is the greatest movement in the history of our country. You do know that. Remember they used to say, no, MAGA's a good solid 35% of the party. No, it's 95% of the party, not 35. They used to say that. You know, they're very cunning people. Oh, MAGA's 35. And so it's 35, really? No. It's 95% of the party, and I think it's probably 90%. I think the whole country. Think of it, who wants open borders? Who wants men playing in women's sports? And I'd like to congratulate the young woman who transitioned from a man into a boxer. You saw she won the gold medal. How about the young beautiful Italian boxer? She got in there and she didn't know what was going on, and she was a very good boxer, you know, against other women. She didn't count on this. And he's up here, boom, one little jab, whoa. She goes, nobody ever hit me that way. Then he goes, boom, and she said, okay, I had enough. It's crazy what they're doing. And this person won the gold medal. Did they win the gold medal today? What do you think of that, Tim? I don't think Tim likes it. Greg, no good, right? Now, how crazy is it? How crazy is it? For 4 more years, crazy, and she wants it. She wants men to play in women's sports. She wants to take away your guns. All of the stuff And now she's going to deny it. Watch. She'll come out with a statement. She'll deny it. And remember one thing. I'm going to say it again later because it's so important. No tax on tips. Do we like that? And they're just the opposite. They're driving people crazy. And our seniors, our senior citizens, we're not going to have them pay tax any longer on Social Security. Okay? Those two things. 4 more years of crazy Kamala Harris means 50 million illegal aliens pouring into our country over another 4 years. 50 million. 50 million could be 50 million more. They're overrunning our country. They're destroying our country. They're ruining our country, and they're making our country very unsafe. These are very tough people. These are criminals coming out of jails. These are people that are tough. The only good thing about them is they make our criminals look like weak sisters. That's it. These are really tough, nasty people. And we can't have it. You know, we all have a heart, but we can't have it. It means double-digit inflation decimating your savings, and your savings are being decimated. I know what you're going through. It means violent crime ripping through the suburbs. You know, they talk about women. I think suburban women like me a lot. You know, it's fake stuff. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? You know, I put something in when I was president. There will be no low-income housing developments built in areas that are right next to your house. You have a house in the suburbs. You're so proud. And then they want to build a low-income job with a 30-story building next to your house. And your house is worthless. And I stopped it. And then they say, well, I don't think suburban women like them. I think they like me. I'm going to keep criminals out of your neighborhood. That's really all that matters. I think they like me anyway. You're not going to have migrant criminals preying on our women and our girls while guns are confiscated from the law-abiding citizens. They want to take away your guns, and then they want to have our country overrun with some of the worst criminals there are anywhere in the world. And they come from all over the world. They come from Africa. They come from Asia. They come from the Middle East. They come from all over. A large boatload came recently from the Congo. Where do you come from? Where in the Congo? Prison. What did you do wrong? We do not want to say. Murder. It was murder. And they're dumping them into our country. You know the money they're saving, these other countries? Their prison population is way down. The money they're saving is, they've never had it so good. And if I were running any of those countries, if I were running Colombia, if I were running Brazil, I'd be doing the same thing, but I'd be doing it faster than they're doing it. Why wouldn't you do it? It's common sense. Dump all of your criminals. You know, in Venezuela, crime is down 72%. You know why? Because he took all of the criminals out of Caracas and out of all the cities. He took all of them out and dumped them into the United States. He emptied his prisons into the United States of America. Why are we taking this? Why do we take this? Why? So don't take my word for it. Listen. Kamala Harris's agenda straight from her own mouth. Would anybody like to see her? Let's do it for a couple of seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am radical. We need to get radical about what we are doing and take it seriously.
As President of the United States, I am prepared to get rid of the filibuster to pass a Green New Deal. There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program.
I believe it will totally eliminate private insurance.
Let's eliminate all of that.
But would you support changing the dietary guidelines?
Yes.
You know, the food pyramid, what people
yes.
To reduce red meat specifically.
Yes, I would.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
Where do you stand on defund the police?
This whole movement is about rightly saying we need to take a look at these budgets.
Harris asserted that ICE is perceived as the modern-day Ku Klux Klan.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
I see no.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
That puts ICE in the same category as the KKK. Is that what you're asking me? I see no parallel.
I'm not finished.
I see none.
And yeah, I am radical. We need to get radical about what we are doing.
And that's just a small part of it. That's just a small part. That's what we have, though. That's where they're going. We're going. Remember I said we will not become a socialist country? And I meant it, except I was wrong. We didn't become a socialist. We're going beyond socialism. We're becoming, if they get in, a communist, full-blown communist country. This is America. We're not a communist country. We're not going to let that happen. And Kamala is not just, she's not just dangerously extreme, and she is extreme, much more so than Biden, because Biden didn't know he was alive, let's face it, okay? Are you a socialist? What does that mean? What does it mean? Are you a communist, Joe? I don't know. So he was sort of dangerous because the people around the Resolute desk ran the country. Don't forget, he went after me. He weaponized government to go after me. I don't believe it was him. I believe it was the People's Circle. I could name every one of them. They're bad people. And we won our big case in Florida. Great, brilliant judge that was so smart and strong. And she didn't listen to the nonsense. And, you know, they play the ref with judges. They criticize them all the time, scream at them, treat them horribly. Justices, the justices of the Supreme Court, all judges. And they think they're playing the ref like the great Bobby Knight, right? Play the ref now. They're not putting up with it anymore. What they are doing is, in my opinion, totally illegal. Kamala is grossly incompetent and, in my opinion, has a very low IQ. But we'll find out about her IQ during the debate, okay? Let's find out about her IQ. So, you know, we have this great system. I want to show you just one other thing, please. Do you mind putting it up, please? Thank you.
We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically that's wrong.
So you're now no longer are you necessarily keeping those private files in some file cabinet that's locked in the basement of the house. It's on your laptop, and it's then therefore up here in this cloud that exists above us, right? The Caribbean nations, island nations, in the Western Hemisphere. That is where the Caribbean is. We are also in the Western Hemisphere. They are our neighbors. I am here, standing here on the northern flank, on the eastern flank, talking about what we have in terms of the eastern flank. I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know? Space is exciting. It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree that there are things and tools that are available to us to slow this thing down. We will work together and continue to work together to address these issues, to tackle these challenges, and to work together as we continue to work. Do you ban plastic straws?
I think we should. Yes. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. It's really difficult to drink out of a paper straw when you had, if you're just, like, if you don't gulp it down immediately, it starts to bend. Yes. And then, you know, the little thing catches it, and then, you know, so we got to kind of perfect that one a little bit more.
Do you know, okay, a bit of a history lesson. Do you know that women were not, the women's teams were not allowed to have brackets until 2022?
So the United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. AI is kind of a fancy thing. It's, first of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial intelligence. As a woman, there's a balance to be struck between being tough and being a Turn that off.
So if you listen to Kamala's speeches, you'd never even know that she's been running the country. She's been running the country for 4 years and doing a horrible job. Look at what's happened to our country. We are a failing nation. I hate to say it, we are a failing nation. I wish I didn't have to do this. I wish I didn't have to go and do this. I wish they were great. I wish they'd make our country great, but they're going to destroy our country. You know it, they even know it, and probably they're doing it on purpose. It's hard to believe, but they're probably doing it on purpose. Kamala is working full-time to erase her record of open borders, transgender anything, high energy costs, taxes, interest rates, which are at sky levels, rising crime rates, and wars all over the world. We're in wars all over the world. You know, when I left, we had nothing. We had no wars. The world respected your country. We had no wars. Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister, the boss of Hungary, and knows everything very well. They asked him, what's wrong? The world is breaking out in wars all over. He said, there's one thing wrong. The United States needs Donald Trump back as president. And if you have that, you're not going, which is true. You won't have any of these problems. You won't have any of these problems. Russia would have never, ever attacked Ukraine. Israel would never have been attacked on October 7th, and you wouldn't have inflation, and you wouldn't have had the horrible Afghanistan embarrassment, the most embarrassing day, I think, in the history of our country. On Election Day, we're going to tell this radical left country buster, she's a country buster, that we've had enough. We can't take it anymore. We're going to say, Kamala Harris, you're fired. You've done a horrible job. You're fired. Get out of here. Get out. Get the hell out of here, Kamala. Right? If Kamala wins, foreign leaders will treat America's president as a joke. They already do. Now we have two jokes. Think of it. What's going to happen? Russia gets a little nasty. China, President Xi, I know him very well, got along with him very well until COVID, in which case I said, that's the end of that. But President Xi, these are fierce people. These are fierce people. They don't even know who the head of our country is. Who do we have? Are we dealing with Biden? Biden probably should get out, but Xi should get out also. I think they should both get out. I'll tell you what. Do we have a volunteer? Yes, I will volunteer, okay? We have to straighten out. We have to straighten out our country. They're not going to do it. They will rip us off more than ever before. These foreign countries are ripping us off at levels that you've never seen before, and we had them held back. Russia respected us. China respected us. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China. No other president took in not 10 cents. For years, they ripped us off, and our country will never be given a chance for a future. We're never going to have a future back. If we don't solve this problem now, we can't go like this any longer. We're not going to have a country any longer. When I win, we're going to win. When I win, America will be respected again, because you will once again have a president who puts America first, and you have a president who will fight, fight, fight. Thank you. Thank you. For 4 incredible years under our administration, I stood up for America, and we achieved more than any administration in the history of our country. There's never been a period of time like we had for 4 years. There's never been. And then we had COVID, and we got rid of it. We never got, I got great credit for the economy, great credit for the military. We defeated ISIS rapidly. I started no wars. First time in 78 years I started we didn't have any wars, these endless wars. They keep going and going, people getting killed all over the place, spending billions and billions. We passed the largest tax cuts and regulation cuts in the history of our country. We achieved record low unemployment rates, record low poverty rates, and rising wages for everybody. Everybody in this room, your wages increased, your money increased, your businesses increased. Whatever you do, everything was better for 4 years. We unlocked American energy independence, and soon would have been energy dominant. We were going to be energy dominant. We took on the globalists and corrupt special interests. We ended the NAFTA disaster, concealed. And think of that. We got out of TPP. Do you know what TPP? That's if you want to have manufacturing in this country, they were going to take it all away. Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP, we took it away. We withdrew from the horrible Paris Climate Accord. It sounds so nice. I want the Montana Climate Accord, not the Paris Climate Accord. And stood up to China like never before, bringing in tens of billions of dollars. Think of it, though. No other president ever brought up. They never confronted China. And China respected us. We built 571 miles of border wall, and we took it out. You know, we took it out of our military because Congress was impossible. So I said, we're taking it out of our military because it's an invasion of our country. That worked. They sued me all over the place. We won. We ended catch and release. We stopped asylum fraud. We brought illegal immigration to the lowest level ever recorded. That's per your chart. We fully rebuilt the U.S. military and created a thing called Space Force, which is so important. And now we are leading in space. Nobody thought that was possible. And for our great veterans, of which you have a lot in your great state, we passed VA accountability and VA choice, right? They've been trying to get them for 50 years. Accountability is you get rid of the sadists and the bad people that took advantage and harmed our heroes, our great people. They beat them up. They were sadists. They were thieves. There were a lot of bad things. We had no right under civil service and other things to fire them. If we caught them stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars, you couldn't do anything about it. I got a law passed in Congress. We got rid of 9,000 bad people and hired people that love our veterans. And then on choice, so we have some great doctors in the VA, but you couldn't get to them. It would take sometimes months. People would be a little bit ill, and they'd end up becoming terminally ill because you couldn't get to the doctors. If you had to wait more than one day for a doctor, I allowed you to go out, get a local doctor, get yourself taken care of, and we pay for the bill. And Steve Daines helped a lot on that. Actually, Steve, that was a great thing. And we had a 92% approval rating at the VA, the Veterans Administration, 92%. That was the highest rating ever. Now it's down into the 40s, We obliterated ISIS, and unlike Harris, we stood up and we took care of our friend Israel. We have a problem over there, big problem. We have a lot of people that are looking to destroy Israel. Look, the bottom line, we got to get peace over in the Middle East. The Middle East is blowing up largely because our country doesn't know what's happening. They have no idea what's happening. We are going to take care of it. We did the Abraham Accords. It brought peace to the Middle East. We would have had every country signed up right now. If the election weren't rigged, we would have had every single country signed up right now. And I'm proud to be the first president in decades who really, and I talk about it as much as I can because Hillary Clinton stood on the stage. They said, look at him. He's going to start wars. And I said, no. I'm going to stop the wars. You're the one that started the wars. You people, the stupid people, started the war. But I did finish the war on ISIS. And everybody said we couldn't beat ISIS, too malleable, too all over the place. Did it in 4 weeks. We knocked it out. And that's where I learned we have a great military. We don't have a woke military. We have some stupid people on the top that are woke. We have a great military. What they did for me against ISIS was incredible. 4 years ago, America's future was blazing bright, and Kamala and Crooked Joe came in and drove our country off the cliff. They've taken our country to levels. We're being laughed at all over the world. All over the world, they're laughing at America. They're laughing at your United States. But with your vote, the reign will be over. That horrible reign in a way, it's a reign of terror. You know, it's a weak reign. It's an incompetent reign. But they want to put good people in jail that shouldn't be in jail. It's a very dangerous reign, actually, and people aren't going to take it. It's a very dangerous reign led by very incompetent people. New era of strength and prosperity and freedom will soon ring true. The moment I take the oath of office, we will seal the border, stop the invasion, and send the illegal aliens back home where they belong. Wait. Under the so-called border czar Harris, illegal aliens are stampeding into America by the millions and millions. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from all over the place. They're coming from countries we've never even heard of. Most of the people in this room have never heard. They're coming from some very bad places, evil places. Every day, Kamala is letting migrant criminals roam free to assault, rape, mutilate, and kill our citizens. Look at what's happening to our cities. Our cities are being overrun. And they're being taken care of, and our veterans are not being taken. Our veterans are forced to sleep on the street, and these people are given hotel rooms in luxury hotels. Right here in Bozeman, an illegal alien brutally stabbed to death a 19-year-old young man. You know all about it. And when the police searched the illegal's car, they found 3 handguns, 2 rifles, a shotgun, and a record as long as your arm. On July 4th, a 42-year-old Nashville man died after he tried to stop an illegal alien from stealing tools out of his truck. The illegal alien did a number on this man that nobody could even believe. The police officer said one of the most vicious crimes they've ever seen. He was thrown from the hood of the illegal's pickup truck and left to die in the street after being beat to hell. And last month, a Venezuelan illegal alien criminal let in by our so-called border czar. The border czar's a joke. She never went to the border. She never went to the border. Shot a female police officer in Texas multiple times with a rifle and started shooting over and over again. The choice in this election is between a mass amnesty with welfare, Social Security, and voting rights for the illegal. And they want to give illegal immigrants all of this, and here's all we're going to do. It's going to be called a Trump mass deportation because we have no choice. We have no choice. We have no choice. If Harris wins, a never-ending stream of illegal alien rapists, MS-13 animals, and child predators will ravage your communities. They're already ravaging your community. Don't forget, they haven't been here that long. They're getting used to it. When they get used to it, they're going to be coming at you at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime, and it's going to be as vicious as any crime ever seen in this country before, and it's a guarantee. In addition, we have hundreds and hundreds of terrorists in our country that have been allowed in. We didn't allow them in. We had a strong border. We had 1 year where Border Patrol actually said under Trump in 2019, 1 year, one of our 4 years, 0 terrorists. Now, I don't really believe that because I don't believe that's possible. But they have it down as a 0. 0 terrorists were able to get into our country. Now we have hundreds and hundreds of people coming in, thousands of people coming in, and these are the world's worst terrorists. And it's 100% certain that really bad things are going to happen. So we don't have a choice. Vote Republican, and we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history. And I don't say that with fondness. I don't even know. I don't say that I don't even know if that's good politics or bad politics. People would say, oh, Trump is too tough. We don't like him. We don't like him. He's taking murderers out of our country, but we don't like him. He shouldn't be taking murderers out of our country. The truth is, Dwight Eisenhower, he was a sort of a moderate type of guy. General Eisenhower, he was president. Do you know when he was president, he was the strongest president in history outside of what we did, the strongest in history on the border. He hated when people came into our country illegally. And we want people to come into our country, but they have to come in through a process. They have to come in legally. We want people. Harris has let them all in, and we will send them all back. We have to send them back to their countries. Their country, when I came in, we had a lot of MS-13 gang members. They're probably the toughest gang in the world, really ruthless people. And I came in, I said, we got to get them out. I told one of the generals, sir, they won't let us have them in. Under President Obama, the countries where they came from, Honduras and Guatemala and all over the place they come, from South America in this case, the countries said, we're not letting them back in. And they would put major aircraft, big airplane, on the runway. So if we were coming in with a plane, you couldn't land, they'd come back. They blocked up the road, so if we bust them in, if we took them in by ship, any way we took them in, they wouldn't let them back. So the general told me that, sir, I'm sorry, we can't get them back. They'll never take them back. They don't want them back. MS-13 gang members. Who can blame them, right? So I said, how much money do we pay them? He goes, sir, we pay them $750 million a year. Sir? I said, all right, inform the countries that they're delinquent. They're not taking their criminals back. They're sending criminals in. You know, they send them in the caravans. They put some really bad types in the caravans, and they pour in by the thousands, that we're not paying them anymore. We're ending it on day one. I signed a document. The next day I come into the beautiful Oval Office, so beautiful, resolute desk. I sit down. Sir, we have a call from Guatemala. Sir, we have a call from Mexico. We have a call from, we have all these calls, and they call and they wanted to know, sir, we understand there's a misunderstanding. I said, no, why? There's no misunderstanding. You're sending your criminals into our country and you're not taking them back. And I'm not paying you anymore. You're not getting any more subsidy from the United States of America. And they all said the same thing. The calls came in early in the morning. They all said the same thing. Sir, there must be a misunderstanding. There's a misunderstanding, sir. We would love to have MS-13 back in our country. We love them very much, sir. They're wonderful people. And we took tens of thousands. We took thousands and thousands out. You know, believe it or not, there were a lot on Long Island. You read the story where they killed two beautiful 16-year-old girls walking to school, and they killed them with a knife. They sliced them up into little pieces. You know why? Because that's much more painful than getting shot. And they wanted to, what they did, they were animals. And you know who took care of it? ICE. And all of these people like Kamala, they want to abandon ICE. They want to drop ICE. These guys are so incredible. They're brave. You know, I know some of the people in the front row, and they're really tough guys, and they're brave guys, and I know them pretty well. They don't want to work for ICE. ICE would get in, they'd get up to the gangs in Ohio, and a lot of them in New York, and amazing, as I said, in Long Island, and they'd walk into a gang of 15 of the toughest guys you've ever seen, and you'd see fists and feet and back and forth, and it would go on for 3-4 minutes, and then the ICE guys would get up and they'd take these guys into a paddy wagon, put them in, and would bring them back to their country. And then she wants to get rid of ICE. These are incredible patriots. They're tough people, and they love our country as much as anybody, and maybe more than most. One of the most sinister accomplices in Kamala's plot to demolish American borders has been her ally and partner in the U.S. Senate, one of the biggest phonies in American politics. His name is Jon Tester. And I don't speak badly about somebody's physical disability, but he's got the biggest stomach I have ever seen, I swear. I swear. That's the biggest stomach. I have never seen a stomach like that. Because he doesn't look that heavy. You're not allowed to use the word fat. So if you use the word fat, you can say obese, you can say anything, but you can't say fat. That's the end of your political career. I said it the other night. Somebody in the audience said, Chris Christie is a fat pig. And I said, sir, Chris Christie is not a fat pig. You should not. And we argued about it for 3 or 4 minutes, and that was it. No, he's not a fat pig. For years, Tester has been telling Montana that he's a moderate while he votes with Biden, Harris, and Bernie Sanders, and Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. You remember Pocahontas? Pocahontas, I have more Indian blood in me than she has in her, and I have none. I happen to have none. But Kamala votes with them 100% of the time. Did you know that, Steve? 100% of the time. I promise you, Tim will not be voting 100%. He may vote with them 0. I would say 0 would be close. But in a 50-50 Senate, Tester could have single-handedly stopped the invasion of our country, but he voted against stopping it. Instead, Tester voted for mass amnesty. He voted against the border wall, totally voted against the wall. Who the hell would vote against the wall? He voted against remain in Mexico. Remember, I had the policy, the greatest policy of all. You couldn't come into our country, you had to remain. They had hundreds of thousands of people that came up from the South. Hundreds of thousands, they couldn't get into our country. He ended it. And these people came in. You think it was easy to get that deal with Mexico? It was very tough. I had to say, I'm going to put a lot of tariffs on it. They give it to me or not. They were very nice. It was amazing. They wouldn't give it to me. They said, no, sir, we won't do that. I said, all right, I'm going to tariff your cars at 100%. Sir, we'd love to give you that. We would love a policy of remain in Mexico. We think it's wonderful. You had to see Tijuana. Tijuana was the fastest growing city in the history of the world. They were having hundreds of thousands of people pour into Tijuana, but they couldn't come into our country because I said to Mexico, you can stop them. You can stop them at your southern border, down below. And you know those caravans, I think I came up with that name, but they are a caravan. They're very horrible, very dangerous for women, very dangerous. Women die all the time. They're being raped. They're dying. The whole thing is a horror show. He voted against Title 42. That's a bad one. He voted against increasing funding for ICE. He voted to provide the deciding vote to shield illegal alien criminals like the one who murdered Laken Riley from deportation. He didn't want the person deported. He didn't want any deportation for that person. If you elect Jon Tester, you are approving the Harris plan to make the 20 million Biden illegals into voting citizens. She said today she wants to give them the right to vote. Many of these people are killers and criminals. They're not going to have the right to vote, and they're not going to destroy our country. She also voted to give them welfare, government health care, and let them raid Medicare and Social Security until there's nothing left. They will destroy Social Security. I will save your Social Security with no increase in age or anything else. Jon Tester cast the decisive vote to approve every single bill that caused record inflation. Remember the Inflation Reduction Act? It was a phony. They used the term Inflation Reduction. It was actually an Inflation Increase Act. It was a disaster, but they lied because that's what they're good at. They're con people. You know what they are? Misinformation, disinformation. After they got the bill passed, which they shouldn't have had, trillions of dollars, inflation went through the roof. He cast a vote to kill the Keystone XL pipeline. Do you remember that? The Keystone X. What the hell are these reporters doing over here? Pulitzer Prize winner. Doug Mills, the great Doug Mills, Pulitzer Prize. Even though he works for the New York Times, that's okay. He works for the New York Times, and that's one of the only Pulitzer Prizes that was actually earned. They got this woman, Maggot Hagerman. Did you ever hear of it? Maggot Hagerman. She's a reporter. She pretends like she knows more about Trump. I have nothing to do. If the woman speaks to me once in a year, today I called her, I said, your stories are all fake. Why don't you stop it? But think of it. They have a man here who I really like. He's a great photographer. Doug, it's nice to have you. Make me look nice and thin if you don't mind. He voted for environmental extremist Tracy Stone Manning to lead the Bureau of Land Management, and he voted the radical left Interior Secretary, Deb Haaland, you know who that is, don't you? To wage war on your rights and on your industries, and they really did wage war. But we have a man here, and I'm going to introduce some of your people. We have a man here who knows Tester better than I do, better than anybody does. And Tester and I have nothing to do with each other. And when you watch his commercials, you can forget it. He never votes for me. He voted to impeach me. That guy voted to impeach me, stomach brimming out like a big slob. Do you want to? I want to impeach. Why? I don't know. What did he do wrong? I did nothing wrong. But I have to tell you, the Republicans stuck with me, and we won very easily. We beat it. But there's a man named Ronnie Jackson. He comes from Texas, and he heard it was a race against Tester, and he was treated so unfairly. Could I ask Congressman, Admiral, Doctor? He's a doctor. He was my White House doctor. He was Obama's White House doctor and Bush's White House doctor. He was also an admiral. So he was an admiral and a doctor. Then he became the doctor in the White House. And you know when I fell in love with him? They said, who's the healthiest? He took care of Bush, Obama. Did anybody ever hear of Barack Hussein Obama? Yes. Took care of Obama, and he took care of Trump. And they said, who's the healthiest of those presidents? And he said, without question, it's Donald J. Trump. And I said, I love this guy. Ronnie Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. Howdy, Montana, from the great state of Texas. All right. Look, I want to tell you a little bit about this man, Jon Tester. This man who says that he represents Montana in the Senate. This man who tells you that he's up there trying to clean the place up and trying to fix what's broken. This man is a sleazy, disgusting, swamp politician. He's a fraud and he's a liar. I was in the Navy for 25 years. For 25 years, I was on active duty serving my country. I was an emergency medicine physician, right? I went to Iraq with the United States Marine Corps to a surgical shock trauma platoon on the battlefield between Fallujah and Ramadi. I spent the last 14 years of my career in the Navy on active duty at the White House, serving 3 presidential administrations and taking care of 3 presidents, including the best president this country's ever had, Donald J. Trump. I had a spotless, flawless career in the Navy. I had never had a single complaint about anything. I was a Navy Rear Admiral. And at the end of my time in the military, while I was still on active duty, President Trump had the trust and confidence in me to nominate me as the Secretary of Veterans Affairs, which I was happy to. However, let me tell you, Jon Tester, at that time, was the ranking member on the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee. He was going to oversee that process. He was also up for re-election. It was 2018. He decided that it was in his political best interest and would help his election if he could come out and be the guy that tore down one of Donald Trump's cabinet nominees. He came after me. He tried to destroy me. He tried to destroy my family. He got together with some disgruntled employees that worked for me at the White House who were upset because they didn't get promoted or get something they wanted during their time at the White House. One of them, in fact, is currently Joe Biden's doctor. They got together with him and his staff, and they made up completely absurd accusations and lies about me to tear down my nomination. They said that he labeled me on TV as the candy man, right? He said that I was recklessly prescribing narcotics. I can tell you, I can count right here on this hand right here how many times I prescribed narcotics at the White House in 14 years. He put that out there. He said that I got drunk and wrecked a government vehicle. Any 2-bit investigator can figure out whether or not that happened. He knew it didn't happen. He knew it, and it's been proven that it didn't happen since then. He did not care. He was going to destroy me to better his career, and he passed that information to these morons in the back, right? The mainstream media, who were all too willing to carry this water. And let me tell you, they don't work for you. They work for swamp creatures like Jon Tester. That's who they work for. Anyways, look, this man tried to destroy me. He tried to destroy my family. I've been waiting for 6 years to get back here for this night, to be with this man right here, to come after him. The end of Jon Tester starts tonight. And it starts by bringing this man back to the White House so that he can continue the work that he did draining the swamp when he was the president before. He's the best president we've ever had, and he's the only one that can do the job now. So get him back into office. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring Tim Sheehy to the Senate to replace this swamp hippopotamus, Jon Tester. So I want to thank you all for coming out and for showing your support and your willingness to help us take this country back. We've got 87 days left. Let's get it done.
Great job.
That man is on fire.
Other than that, he likes him very much. But I was a part, I maybe blame myself. I said to her, he was a great admiral, highly respected in the Navy. He was a great White House doctor. So you have two, you have leadership and you have the doctor. So I figured, what's better for the VA? So I went to Ronnie and I said, Ronnie, what do you think of the possibility of you running the VA? You're a great leader. You're a great admiral, highly respected in the Navy, war veteran, everything. He had everything you could have. And on top of that, he's a great doctor, a great man, a great personality. Everyone loves him. And, you know, I went to him, I said, what do you think? And he didn't want it. He said, sir, I'd rather not, but he's an incredible patriot. He said, but if you want me to do it, because he was ready to retire and go on to move to Texas and do whatever he was going to do. He said, if you want me to do it, sir, I'll do it. He didn't want to do it. Everybody else would want it, but he really would have preferred not. I said, Ronnie, you know, I did him such a great favor. Ronnie, you'll be great. So I let it out that I'd like to put Ron. I didn't even put it out officially. I let it out to the fake news. I said, I'd like to put Ronnie in as the head of the Veterans Administration. And that's when Tester hit. And it was vicious. It was vicious. It was really. And I didn't even say it. You know, I mean, after it happened, I said, Ronnie, it's really unfair. And, you know, they sent out people, and we did too, to investigate every charge this slob made. And every charge was totally false. And he has an incredible family, an incredible wife. He has a son. I was making the commencement address at Annapolis. His son was one of the best students at Annapolis, right at the top of the class. And I had to look at the son, and I had to say, what they're doing to your father is really unfair. This is one of the finest men you'll ever see. And that Jon Tester couldn't have cared less. He just wanted publicity for himself, and it's a disgrace. You have to defeat Jon Tester. I'm telling you, you have to defeat. You have to do it. And when Ronnie heard what I was doing, he said, oh, you're going to Montana. Does that have anything to do with Tester? I said, actually, it does. We're trying. He said, may I go? He was in Texas. So he had to travel longer than I did. But Ronnie Jackson's one of the finest men, and it was a shame, and really a shame. And you ought to get rid of that guy's bad news. Montana, you've got to do it, and you're going to do it. And I want to bring up, if I could, you heard him just for a second, because I want to shake his hand. He's a spectacular person. He was picked by Steve Daines and a group of people. We were looking for perfection because we didn't want any excuses. The fact that he's handsome should have nothing to do with it, but he is a handsome guy. But he's got everything. He's highly successful, great education, Purple Heart recipient, a former Navy SEAL, which, as you know, is a big deal. It's a tough thing to be. A combat veteran at the highest level, a Bronze Star. And he's got his valor. It's a Valor for Heroism Award. You know, the other one talks about valor. He has a different kind of a valor. It's the opposite. But Tim Sheehy is going to be an outstanding senator. He was a great businessman, an aerospace company. He started it in a barn in Montana, right here. Employed a lot of people, turned it into a big success. And I'd like to ask, just to say a few words real quickly, Tim Sheehy, you've got to vote for him. Thank you. Tim, come on. Come on up.
All right, ladies, here it comes again.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor to have you here. You know, listen, I always supported the Trump policies. I never knew the man, but I supported the policies, no question. But I became a true follower of his about 4 years ago. For those of us who fought in the Middle East, we knew who we were really fighting the whole time. It was Iran. They were murdering us. They've been murdering Americans for 45 years. They were blowing us up with EFPs. They were sending their hit teams across the border and killing us so we could never cross back over and get them. We could never touch them. It was a one-way fight. And in the Obama years, those of you who were there, you know, our hands were tied. I had to watch these guys get killed and sent home in boxes, and we couldn't do anything about it. And that was so frustrating. It made me sick. And a few years ago, when we were fighting ISIS, Trump told the Iranians, don't touch any Americans. We're here to fight ISIS. You touch one hair on any American's head, we're going to kill you. And they didn't believe him. And they didn't believe him. And then they launched some rockets at some Americans up at Balad. And we lost a couple. And Trump didn't hesitate. The next day, he dropped a bomb on that son of a bitch, Qasem Soleimani, and blew him to pieces. He blew him to pieces. And I told the president in person the first time we met, I said, listen, you may endorse me or not, you may support me or not, but I'll tell you one thing, you will always have my loyalty because you're the guy that dropped the bomb on that son of a bitch Soleimani, and you'll always have your back for that. But listen, Biden, Harris, Walz, whatever you want to call them, they are selling you out every single day. They are selling out hardworking Americans. They are taking your money out of your pocket and giving it to illegal immigrants. They're taking money out of your pocket and sending billions of dollars of it overseas to other countries while you're going broke. Our gas prices have doubled and tripled. Inflation's through the roof. Your life is worse off because the policies of this administration that Jon Tester has voted for every single time are killing America. So this fall, we got to send Donald Trump back to the White House and Jon Tester back to Big Sandy.
Great job. Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much, Tim. And I have to say, Tim stands for very strong borders, all the things that we want. He wants strong borders, a very strong military, low taxes, low inflation. But more importantly than anything else, he wants to make America great again. He's going to do it. We're going to do it together. Also with us tonight, and I said it before, he's a special man, Senator Steve Daines. You're lucky to have him. He's an unbelievable, respected by everybody. And it's an honor to have him as a friend. And he wanted to do this race. He said, we have to do this race. We have to take control of the Senate and the House. We're going to do the House. We're going to do the Senate. And this is the answer right here. This is the one seat. We do this seat, we're going to win the Senate. So important. And Tim, you're going to be great. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Steve, you're a fantastic man. Kids, you have a great father. Take good care of your father, okay? I mean that. And I alluded to it before. He's a fantastic guy, a friend of mine. I was one of the earliest to endorse him. Greg Gianforte, your governor. He's been respected by everybody. Greg, please. Please, thank you. A representative who has been absolutely a fantastic guy. He's a tough cookie. He's a great fighter. He has every military record you can have. Ryan Zinke, he's running for Congress again. Good luck, Ryan. You're going to do great. Thank you. I saw some good poll numbers on you today. That's very nice. And Ronnie Jackson, thank you for that speech you made. That was beautiful. And nobody could have done it nobody could do it like you. He knows this guy better than anybody, unfortunately. It was my fault, Ronnie. I shouldn't have done it. I should have said, Ronnie, enjoy your life. I had to say, come on, Ronnie. And then I tell these horrible people back there, it's going to be Ronnie, oh boy. But you know what he did? He came back and he said, I'm going to run for Congress. And he ran and he won. And he won big, big. All right? That's pretty good. Think of it. You're a great doctor, become the White House doctor. You're a great admiral, you're doing great. Then you decide, I'm going to run for Congress. So you have Congress, you have doctor, you have admiral. Who the hell has a career like that? That's pretty good. That beats all of us. Tim, that beats all of us, I think. Former acting attorney general and a friend of mine, Matt Whitaker. Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much. Great job. Your auditor. Oh, that's good because you have a lot of money here. Troy Downing. Thank you very much, Troy. Great job. Secretary of State Christy Jacobson. Christy, thank you. Good job. You have my endorsement. She's got my endorsement. They both do. I'm giving you my endorsement now. This way I don't have to go home and write it out. Is that okay? She has my endorsement, complete and total endorsement. Your great Attorney General, Austin Knudsen. Thank you, Austin. Great, beautiful family. Great family. State Party Chair, Don Karlschmidt. Where's Don? Don, thank you very much. Good job you're doing. They're all doing well, right? They're doing well, Don. You're doing a great job. RNC Chairman Michael Whatley, very powerful man. Michael, thank you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. What he's got one function. We don't need the votes. He's going to stop the steal. He's going to stop the steal. He's going to make sure that those votes are properly counted. You ever hear things like this? You vote 2 months early and you need more time. We want to go back to one-day voting and paper ballots. Very simple. Very simple. But he did a great job. He was the head of the Republican Party in North Carolina when those other states were being robbed and rigged. That guy held so true, and he's going to do it with. He had 603 lawyers working, and other guys just said, "Oh, you can never take it for granted with these people, because they do something very, very well. You know what that is? They cheat. That's what they is." And in the audience is a man that I gave a pardon to, and I'm very proud. Would you stand up, please? Stand up with a beautiful hat on, right there. Yeah, stand up. I was very honored. Handsome guy, too. And people were very happy with that. You were happier than anybody, but it was my honor to do it. Thank you very much. And one of our greatest golfers in the history of, I'm a golfer, I love golf. This guy is a major golfer. He's a major friend of mine, one of the best ever. They knighted him in England or in UK. And he just knew how to win. He could take people and he'd play the best players in the world, and they always folded in front of him. In fact, I think I'm going to bring him into government because we like to get other people to fold. And his nickname is Foldo, but he's really, because he makes everyone, but his name is Faldo. Nick Faldo and his beautiful wife, Lindsay. Where is Nick? Where is Nick? That guy can play golf. He's won 6 majors and many, many tournaments, and he's one of the greatest ever. So thank you very much. It's an honor as a golfer. I don't know how many. Does anybody play golf? Did anybody ever hear of Nick Faldo? Yeah, they heard. Thank you very much, Nick. It's an honor. You are a piece of work. I'll tell you. He's a tough cookie, too. You talk about a tough cookie, that's a tough cookie. From the moment we take back the White House from Kamala and Crooked Joe, I believe we're going to have the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Starting on day 1, we will end inflation and make America affordable again. To bring down the prices of all goods, we will stop the Biden-Harris war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. Going to bring them way down. That's what caused the inflation. Their stupid energy policies caused the inflation. I will terminate the Green New Scam, deliver historic regulation cuts, and I will end the Biden-Harris electric vehicle mandate on day 1. You want to have a gasoline-propelled car, or if you want a hybrid, or if you want an electric car, it's great. But you can have your choice. Whatever you want, you're going to have your choice. That's the way it should be. We will pass massive tax cuts for workers, and that includes no tax on tips, as I said. We're going to stop outsourcing, demand a level playing field for the American worker, and turn the United States into the manufacturing superpower of the world. We had it going so beautifully, and then these stupid people came along and ended it. We're going to be the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we can do it so easy. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope and safety and beauty. better than they have ever been before, and we will end the migrant crime epidemic, demolish the foreign drug cartels. We are going to demolish those cartels. We're going to crush gang violence, support our police, and lock up violent offenders behind bars. And we are going to straighten out the crime in our cities. We are going to straighten out the crime in our country. We're going to get it done fast. We will deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic again. You see what's happening. And before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. I will restore peace through strength. That's what I did. We had no wars. Think of it. No wars. No wars during the Trump administration, Steve. In my next term, we will build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our country, a dome like has never been seen before, and it will be entirely made in the USA, including Montana. And unlike Biden, who's destroying Social Security and so many other things, I will not cut 1 cent from Social Security. I will not raise the age, which they want to do. They're destroying Social Security and Medicare by allowing all of these people to come in on the plan. You earned it. You deserve it. We're going to preserve it for you just the way it is. Thank you. And as you know, I kept my promise for 4 years. And I will keep my promise very easily again. And seniors, as I said, will not pay taxes on their Social Security. That's a big deal. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. We're not going to do it. I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. Right? Right? And I will keep men out of women's sports, if that's okay. See, Nick, at least in golf, you know, they got a putt, right? Maybe in golf they have a little chance, but not much. No, I don't see it. I know you too well. I don't see them playing against you. But the women golfers are doing very well. But what do you think, Nick? You keep men out of women's sports? You think that's okay? Yeah. I think so, huh? I think so. I will fully uphold the Second Amendment. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech in our country. And I will secure our elections. Our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and a thing called voter ID. They don't want voter ID. Why don't they want voter ID? You know, we start off with voter ID, and they say we don't want. You know why? Because they want to cheat. There's only one reason you don't want identification. You want to cheat. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020. We will not let them rig the presidential election in 2024. Not going to let them rig it. And we want to do this as a landslide. We're doing great in the polls, and so is Tim. We want to do this as a landslide, and the one way you win, guaranteed, no matter what they do, it's called, we want to win too big to rig. Too big to rig. Too big to rig. Gets too big, and they just say, oh, we can't do it. We can't do it. They got us. Too many votes. We have a lot of votes. So get your friends, get your family, and get out and vote in numbers. And America, I tell you what, like numbers that you've never seen before. I think that's going to happen. I think we're going to have the greatest election victory in the history of our country. And to help ensure election integrity, go to protectthevote.com. Protectthevote.com. So in conclusion, from Big Fork to Billings, from Glendive to Great Falls, and from Big Sky to right here in Bozeman, this state was built by some of the toughest men and strongest women ever to walk the face of the earth. Montana is the land of cowboys and cattle hands, ranchers and farmers, frontiersmen and soldiers, adventurers and pioneers who charged into the wilderness, scaled the Rockies, trekked through the ice and snow, and carved out a life in one of the most beautiful places in all of God's creation. It's true. I saw that. So true. I mean, it's so true. All of that driving today, there's no place more beautiful than this. Together they built this state. They helped make America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation in decline. We're a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, lost its willpower, and lost its strength. We are a nation that has quite simply lost its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. It's going to go quickly. With our leadership, every disaster Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have created can be fixed, and it can be fixed quickly. It's going to have to be fixed quickly. We don't have time. Every problem can be solved and every wrong can be rectified. By this time next year, America's borders will be strong, sealed, and secure. Promise. Inflation will be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. Optimism will be surging. The American dream, which you never hear about anymore, will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the worst administration in the history of our country, will be a fading memory of the past. And our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the one shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th President of the United States. Because we are all Americans, and together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of America. November 5th, Election Day, and that period will be the most important day and period in the history of our country. Our country will be greater than ever before. You have to remember November 5th and mark it down, the most important day in history. Because we are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together, we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Montana. Thank you. Vote for Tim. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
All right, so it's 1:10 here on the East Coast. Obviously, this is one of the latest rallies for those of us on the East Coast. He kept it going the entire, lots of energy after flying cross country, having problems with the plane, everything else. He got there, he delivered it, delivered the message. Whew. I'm just going to stop and say this. This is what I have to say. I want to thank all of you who stayed up this late to listen to this man speak and gave me the opportunity to watch it with you. Thank you very, 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 very much. I can't tell you. I'm overwhelmed. I'm looking at this and I'm like, these people are still staying here. It has to be, if it's 1 o'clock here, then it's what, 12 o'clock in the middle of the country, and then as we go across. But wow, thank you very, very much for sticking it out. I personally think this is one of his better rallies. He starts off and then he builds, and then Jon Tester, boy. Hey, Jon, you're going to have to go get a diet, bro, because he just ripped you on stage, and everyone in Montana at this point is going to call you a hippo. Man, what energy. There's no way you can compare this to Joe. There's no way that Joe could do this. I don't think Kamala could do it. Excuse me. I don't know how long her rallies last, what she does, but she stops after every sentence, and, you know, just seeing this man, knowing what he's been through, I just can't imagine. I cannot imagine what they've done to him for the last 7 or 8 years, how they've done it to him. Lawsuits, impeachments, trying to take his property, trying to take his money, now trying to take his freedom. And then, of course, a couple weeks ago, trying to take this man's life. That's admirable. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. You have to sit back and say, you've thrown everything at this man, every possible thing you could do, up to the point of trying to take his life, ruin his family, put his friends in jail. No wonder you're terrified. No wonder you're scared as crap what's going to happen if he gets back in office. If I were some of you, I'd basically keep a go bag and get ready, because at this point, you can't blame him if he wants to come in there guns blazing, not being literal. You can't blame him. He deserves to find out who did what, especially how did somebody take a shot at him? You tried to take him away from his wife, his kids, his grandkids. I'm a grandfather. It's amazing, simply amazing. And all this, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. This man's 78 years old. He's got to leave there, probably go have dinner someplace, then get on this plane, whichever plane it is, and then fly all the way back here to South Florida. Simply amazing. And anyone who's willing to put through all that, I got to vote for. So I thank every single one of you for tuning in and staying tuned in. I'm going to take a sleep in tomorrow morning and probably do a video. Probably won't do a live tomorrow, maybe a short live depending on what news hits. Maybe we find out more what's going on in Syria. But wow, absolutely wow. Thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in. I can't tell you. You give me the energy to continue. You give me the momentum when I'm getting tired. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, that dude's 78 years old. You better wake up. Wake up, man. Slap yourself. Drink something. Thank you. Thank you very much. Talk to you very soon. And don't forget, we're going to have, as soon as I find out the information, I will post it. And Monday night, the doors are going to get blown off. When he sits down with Elon Musk, it's going to break the internet. I mean, it's going to be huge, absolutely huge. Talk to you before then, though, probably in a recorded video tomorrow, and we'll go live probably, definitely on Monday. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. Go get some sleep.